true crime. From cold cases to serial killers, missing persons, and more.
100% he did this.
I'd go off in the fantasy world.
How much more lucky can you get that you're not on death row?
You want to know what we know.
My name is Jay. This is Guilty of Crime.
Hello, everybody. It's been a long time. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Every time I say that, everyone says loud and clear. What's going on, everybody? It's a Friday night, and what's the obsession? She's not feeling well. So I came on to clear up some Madeline Soto and Tyler Wallace issues. Well, I call it issues because it bothers me when there's comments on my page and people say things that I have to delete and I don't address them because, well, I don't want to, cause drama on the page and, try to argue with people. So I figure I'd come on here, clear it up with you all. And remember, I started this case with people that know the family and friends that know the family and roommate that I talk to constantly. And yeah, there's that. And she will be coming back on. I did get a lot of your questions. I see tons of questions. So I'm going to have her go through those. I will call her tomorrow and we will go through those questions. So anything that's relevant, because a lot of questions that you all asked were things that were already addressed in the issues, in the episodes, excuse me. So I'm going to say hello and then we'll get started. Hello, Miss Mary, Lisa, and Mary Herrera. What's going on? Thank you, Bree, for being here on short notice. Juror 13, one of my all-time favorites, and true day one, sitting there when I was talking to myself. A crime to remember, always lovely. Are you serious? Hola. All right, I just wanted to say hi to everybody. What's up, Carrie? Everything's working out. You're amazing. Thank you for making it happen. I am texting with Paul DeMulo, and he'll be on the show next week. We just got to figure it out and get it out there, folks, about Lauren DeMulo and bring it back to the light. All right. So shout out to Courtney Watson. Was about to make lunch, but dropped everything. Lunch. It's 7:37 in California. And I promise you won't be disappointed in this episode. I wanted to talk about Tyler Wallace. Child support was more than money to him. Let's clear things up and new documents coming. All right. So I'm a night person. It's Friday night. What's up, Carly? Thank you for being back. I know you're busy. Wolfpack, thank you so much. Maggie Duke, hello, Jay. I hope some people get gifted memberships tonight. Grace Mayato, I'm not sure how to say that, but I'm doing my best. Robin Ben, 10:30 in Florida, perfect time. My dude, M. As you can tell, I am fired up and ready to go. What's up, Millie Rivera? All week long, I get information on this case from various sources and people that call me and say, hey, blah, 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 check this out. Here's all this information, but you can't say anything. So I'm sitting there festering with all this information that I can't say. And then there's the things I can say. So tonight I'm talking about the things I can say. And I want you to know that for the naysayers that come on my page and say, I'm not buying this story about Maddie's dad. It's not a story about Maddie's dad. I'm just sharing this real quick. We've seen it. I'll start off with saying Maddie's biological dad, Tyler Wallace. I don't even like to say biological father. It's her dad. Tyler Wallace is her dad. He did the best he could with what he had. And he was in my opinion, ran out of town by Jennifer Soto and the lawyers that her mom hired. Her mom and dad, mommy and daddy paid for the lawyers. So I think this may be, I'm not sure if it's the same clip or the other clip, but we'll just quickly play it for those folks that haven't seen this particular one where Tatiana's all broken up. We'll start the show with this. And yeah, I think that's the best way to go about it. We'll clear things up, like I said. And let's get into it. I have everybody's messaging me all week long about it. Boy, let's from Montreal. Plunder came out the video. Fantastic. Prayers to Plunder. All good vibes. Nothing but love to everybody. And I noticed in the video that the connection wasn't correct. So I'm going to clear that up. And I'm also going to clear up Tyler Wallace's child support. I have a copy of that. It's public record. So I have a copy of his child support payment. We did some research of our own. Thank you to Not the Mama. We did a background check, and all we could find on Tyler Wallace was a speeding ticket. I have a copy of the judgment that was required for his child support way back when. So I kind of want to tell you the story that I know from my sources and that side of the family and clear it up so that we know. Melissa Johnson, what's up? Nets World, it's different than Madeline does not have the Wallace name. That's another thing. She didn't get the Wallace name. Why? Because when you have parents that have money, mommy and daddy that have money, and they pay for lawyers, and then they run you out of town, in my opinion, as Maddie was a little girl, and I can't say fact because I cannot show you what I have. I cannot tell you who told me, but what I'm telling you is a credible source, and hopefully it all comes out. Let's start with this clip just really quickly for everybody, and then we're going to get into it. I'm going to dissect the Plunder video. New documents are coming, folks, and when the new documents come, there's going to be a lot more. Listen to this real quick if you haven't seen it, just in case. Hold on. Oh, by the way, again, there's no story that you should be buying about Tyler Wallace. It's not a story, it's what happened. So if you're not buying the story that I'm telling you, I don't know what to tell you because it's not a story, it's what happened. It's actual documentation of what happened. And if I could show it to you, I would show it to you, but I can't infringe upon things that paperwork and there's things that I cannot do until it comes out. All right.
Jones, investigative reporter Shannon Butler sat down with him to talk about his daughter, her death, and the man investigators have called the prime suspect in her murder but have not arrested. She's live here in the studio with us, and Shannon, quite an interview.
Yeah, Tyler Wallace did not put any restrictions on the question.
This is as loud as it goes, but everything else will be higher. Again, here is what happened. This is not a story that I'm selling you. Facts. That's it. Lauren, facts. And I'll even show you the paper from 2012 when child support started. I can't bring that up right now, but facts is right. No story, folks. This is what happened. All right, let's go. I'm really fired up.
Questions I could ask him, but he did ask one thing of me, to talk about why he had no idea his daughter was going through what she was and why he doesn't want other dads to suffer with the same regrets. Tyler and Tatiana Wallace saw Madeline Soto in October of last year.
I've always wanted to see her more.
Remember, Maddie didn't get to see her dad very often. There were restrictions and lawyers that were being paid to keep her with Jennifer Soto. Jennifer Soto fought really hard. She put a lot of effort into keeping Maddie, but she didn't put the same effort into keeping Maddie safe. So there was a lot of effort to keep her, but not the same effort to keep her safe, keep her not being abused, all of the above. So I do know that. All right, listen close because this is a little low, but it's not too long.
We're supposed to have some.
Tyler and Tatiana Wallace saw Madeline Soto in October of last year, and they had no idea it would be the
That was the last
She meant
time.
everything to us.
The couple kept in touch, paid child support, and gave a little
Thank
extra
you.
for things like flute lessons. But because they lived thousands of miles away from Madeline and finances were tight, they rarely saw her. Was there something that concerned you? Was there a sign? Did you think something was wrong?
Not really, no. I didn't know. I didn't know. I just wish she would have told me. We had her in October.
Of course.
We had her in October. And I just wish she would have told me. I would have taken her away from that.
It's something that will haunt her father forever.
I just wish I could have seen her more. I wish I could have had her more. And I struggle with that. I will always struggle with that.
Tyler told us that Stephan Stearns was in Madeline's life for at least 5 years. He didn't.
All right. And he didn't have her more because he couldn't have her more because Jen dominated that situation. Not because she was high on drugs, laying back like a potato, like a raw potato. It was because she put the effort into it and let mommy and daddy pay for lawyers to keep him away from her so she can have control, because she's a controlling person and very manipulative. And I cannot wait until the roommate comes back on to tell you herself, her personality traits, and more. All right. Yeah, the only person responsible for this are Stephan Stearns and Jennifer Soto for not watching her daughter and many other things, but those are the things that we can see now.
Know him well, but had no reason to believe that he would soon be arrested, accused of sexual battery, and with having dozens of graphic recordings. And now there are so many questions about what happened and why.
I don't know yet the whole story, and it's painful to be in that state of waiting to understand how I feel. But the truth is, I don't know how I feel yet. It's hard. It's flip-flopping and speculating, and that's difficult. That takes a toll on you. And that's why I'm just trying to grieve privately with my family and process this loss for us. And
Prayers,
I do want
Dad.
support from the public, but I don't feel right sending mobs and pitchforks. I want to focus on Maddie and her loss and what I could have done better.
And he's a military man, Marines, Air Force is Tatiana. They didn't get paid a lot, never got paid a lot for that, and they had to travel a lot. So Jennifer Soto took advantage of that. They split up when she was very young. He didn't just go off with some younger, better version like I hear someone saying on my page. He left her and got with this other girl. No. Jennifer Soto's crazy and she has psychotic breaks and checks herself into mental hospitals when she has anxiety. So it didn't work out. They had a baby. He stepped up to the plate. He did live in Florida and he did the best he could to keep Maddie. But we know that the courts in Florida favor moms. Okay. So that's what happened. And eventually he was ran out of town. Okay. All right.
Not as a guilting myself thing, but as helping other fathers who are struggling to have relationships with their children.
And Tyler will continue to fight for answers and try to find a way to move on. Maddie's not here to speak for herself. You are here to speak for her. What do you want people to know after all this is said and done? There's probably a few things.
More than that.
Life isn't fair. You know, I loved my little girl. We were patient. We were taking our time. By our belief, we were doing everything right. And it just happened like this. And there's no the rest of her life. There's no the back half. There's no making up for it. There's no improving. It's just done now.
On Friday, we told you he was trying to get Maddie's ashes to
And
bring
he
home.
did.
His attorney did get those ashes from Jen Soto. Actually, he and his family are headed back home with those ashes. And
all right. And back home is Texas, Houston, Texas, from what I'm aware of. Okay. Now, I want to just show you real quick the receipt from 2012. matches up fairly nice about around the time where Jennifer Soto and Tyler Wallace split up. And, after having Maddie, it didn't work out. Jennifer Soto is she is crazy. She's got a lot of issues. I don't know clinically. I shouldn't say she's clinically crazy, but she is diagnosed with certain things that, and she makes herself crazy. She goes into mental hospitals, checks herself in. She's not stable mentally all the time, but she is very cunning, conniving, convincing, and she plays the role of right now. She's not playing a role of anything because she's just not there. But the role that she's trying to play, in my opinion, is that she didn't know those pictures, unbelievable. Why bring that up? Why say when your daughter's missing that you send your daughter to bed with that monster and talk about that? What is that narrative? All right. Why even say that? All right. So, in my opinion, Tyler Wallace, child support was more than money. It wasn't about now, June 20th, 2012, you see the record, judgment record by Jennifer Soto in Orange, Florida, 153.53. That's way back when. How many years ago? Okay. So I'm sure it went up by now. He was paying child support. They didn't make a lot of money being in the military, him or Tatiana, but they did more than just paying. And I'm all fired up, hitting my mic. Okay, so thank you, Melissa Johnson, for gifting a membership. You're amazing. Everybody that's supporting me is fantastic. I appreciate you more than you know. And we just got here, JPL, so don't worry. So I want you to see that. And I wish there were other things I could actually show you, but I can't infringe upon people's privacy with certain things. So I'm showing you that just to give you an idea that we're looking stuff up, we're looking into it, and that lines up with Maddie and the age that Tyler and Jen split up. Tyler did his best that he absolutely could. He said it himself that there was room for improvement. I'm summarizing what he said, but he said he wished he could have did more in hindsight, but he didn't get a chance to fix himself because as being a parent, because now she's gone. She didn't tell him because many children don't tell their parents or anybody else. So the people that are involved, or that are to blame, are Jennifer Soto and Stephan Stearns. Jennifer Soto because she was supposed to watch out for her daughter and not do what she did. Stephan Stearns because, well, right now he's behind bars for that. Maggie says, I believe they never married, and father being in the military, being away. No, they did not marry. Jen was already married to somebody else, got a divorce. That was that. They had a kid. That beautiful kid was Madeline Soto, and this is where we are today. All right. Such a nice crew here. Thank you for gifting a membership and JC getting the membership. I'm glad you're happy because you will be. There's so many things coming up. It's insane. You wouldn't even believe it if I told you. So, that being said, I wanted to show you that we're not telling a story. We're telling the facts of what we know. So, I'm still going to say in my opinion, but I have corrections to make. I want you to know new documentation is coming out. Plunder, the queen of documents and the FOIAs, whatever you call that. She's got her eyes on them. There's a whole video about it. I'm not going to play that, but after we're done going through that video, we're also going to go and we're going to speculate in our minds what happened between 11 p.m. and 8:15 in the morning that particular night. So thank you all for being here. We have 319 people in chat. If you don't have a penny, you have a thumb. If you don't have a thumb, you have a finger. If you don't have a finger, use your toes. Just hit that like button so we can get in the algorithm. We're doing some pretty crazy things that are blowing my mind. All right. So I love you all. Let's keep going. And Dawn, grandmother 3, member for 2 months. Hi, Jay. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for being here. I couldn't do it if I was just talking to myself with no support. So, Tyler Wallace, Child support was more than money for him. It wasn't about that. It was about having a daughter that he loved, and they loved her. Tatiana did. She loved her as well. When they got together, um, she was embracing of Maddie, and she really wanted to have a relationship with her, and she did the best she could. And Maddie probably only saw them maybe far stretched twice a year because time goes fast. I'll show you a couple pictures in case you don't believe me even further, so you know I'm not selling a story. Where's my I actually got to find those, and I want to thank thank you, Corey. I wonder what she said to Maddie to keep her quiet. I don't think we just hit 333. Say a prayer for Maddie, make a wish. I don't think she had to say anything to Maddie to keep her quiet. I think I have a bigger theory than that. But I want to thank you, M.M. Clark. Again, it's just a theory. And when you're a little girl and you're 8 years old and something like that's happening, Stephan Stearns is the one that was grooming her. We know that. Well, we don't know that. We're speculating that. Okay. So we're going to speculate that he was grooming her and she got to a certain age. He probably did all the tactics when you groom, right? We can look up a document that show grooming tactics and the stages of grooming tactics. And the stages of grooming tactics are, one of them would be, if one doesn't work, you can move to the next one, right? You groom them, you make them think they fall in love with their abuser. So I'm betting he went through all of those stages, all right? Let me just put this up so you can see this sweet angel, and then we'll get into it. And thank you, everybody that's here. Just because you're here, you're supporting my channel right now at this very moment. Thank you for being a membership for 2 months. Let me just show you real quick. And I bet you if I wanted to get more pictures, I could from the family. I know that they appreciate the support, and I cannot stand the people commenting on my page bad things about Tyler. I immediately delete them. If there's no common sense in it, then I just delete it. Okay, so just real quickly, that age, I don't know what age that is. What do you think, you guys? That could be anywhere between what, like 6 to 8 months, 8 months, 9 months, something. Tyler had already broken up with Jennifer Soto, Potato Soto, and got with Tatiana. They're both military, one Air Force, one Marines. She embraced Maddie, and Maddie grew up with her as much as she could see her. She did. You could also see, and you don't have to rewatch, Connie. We just got started, but you can rewatch it if you like. Did you have a question? Okay. And Carly says, common sense isn't as common as it should be. You're right. Okay. So MM guesses 6 months. I'm going to say 6 months. I don't have the timeline in front of me. This is where it starts. Tatiana absolutely still loves Maddie. And thank you, Kaylin, 6 months. All right. So you can see where it all started. Tyler's with Tatiana. Jen's off being a potato and trying to get rights to Maddie just so she could not take care of her. I don't know. Don't know why she fought so hard to get rights and then not take care of her. I think Maddie looks like her dad. Absolutely. That could be another reason. She could absolutely despise Tyler and have done abuse and been in arguments with her and bickering just because she looked like her dad. I don't know. I'll never stop believing that both him and Jen were doing the unthinkable. Right. I can't not think that at this point. All right. So there you go. They saw Maddie in October of 2023. That was the last time they saw her. You could see she was growing up to be a young, beautiful little teenager. And that she was about to be. She just turned 13. I noticed the nose ring. You can see how happy she looks with her girl. They've grown up. She's grown up with her. Okay. Last picture, just a collage, beautiful collage. Maddie was right around. This must have been their last visit together because she looks the same age. as we see in the pictures from birthday, Tatiana, Maddie, you can see all the stages of growing up. There's Maddie looking exactly like Daddy, and looks like they're playing video games. I mean, clone, almost clone-like. All right. So that being said, let's keep going. And if somebody would tell, let's see, Hila Mora Romero how to gift memberships, that would be great. It's hard for me to explain, but it's right down there in your chat button. If you put the chat button and you click on the little dollar sign, it will give you an option to gift memberships. That would be fantastic. All right. Are Jennifer Soto's parents still giving any support to Jennifer? I love my children, but there's no way I could even look at them. That I cannot tell you because I'm not talking to Jen's mom or Jen or anything like that. So I don't know. But I do want you to see for the last 25 minutes, me not selling you a story, me showing you Tyler, Tatiana, Maddie, and then telling you what documentation that I have and what the people close to the family have stated and what we've seen. No Jen Soto at the funeral or the vigil or the memorial or anything, but Tyler Wallace and Tatiana were there 110%. Bam. And that's why I like her. Yeah. I mean, we can't do that. I mean, we could. I have his phone number and all that, but no, I'm not going to do that. By the way, I'd like you guys to know for the Lauren DeMulo case that I messaged, if you know, I messaged Gabriel Pena to see if he would reach back out to me and talk. Now, if he doesn't talk to me, that also says a lot, folks. All right. I don't understand why Jennifer never got Maddie consulting for sleeping problem. Well, because she didn't do anything. That's why. All right, I want to get into this. There's lots I can answer questions in the show. Hashtag arrest Jen Soto. Let's keep going. This is what I wanted to show you today because I need to clear this up. And there's a lot of things in here that coincide with what I'm doing. So let's take this down and I will share my screen. All right. Stop sharing. All right. So this is, and thank you to Paula from Plunder that said Jennifer Soto took Madeline Soto's dad to child support court. Stephan Stern's ex-part. Okay. Yeah, we saw the child support and there's a couple corrections, but there's also things I want to talk about. This is Terasina Niles, and this is Tatiana's sister, which would be Tyler's sister-in-law, not his sister. So a little confusing if you don't know, but thank you for Paula for always getting the paperwork and the receipts.
Could you tell us about Madeline?
Yes. Maddie was the light of my sister Tatiana and my brother-in-law Tyler's eyes. She was their entire world. Their love for her definitely seeped into the rest of us in the family, and we just had this hope and prayer that one day we would be able to have more time with her, spend more time with her, watch her, go through the milestones and make memories as a family. But we weren't given that opportunity, so a lot of it was from watching afar. And when they did get, a chance to have her and be with her, they spent every moment like cherishing it. So this is all very difficult to understand, especially finding out in real time as well with the rest of the world, the nightmare she was living through and went through. And it's just been incomprehensible for us.
To Terasina Niles, this is Maddie's aunt on the dad's side. Terasina do you know whether the bio dad has confronted Maddie's mother?
So again, if you just heard that, even Nancy Grace says that's the aunt on the bio dad side. I guess she's on the bio dad side, so to speak, because they're married, but then they say it again. This is actually Tatiana's sister, so it's Maddie's aunt, but it's Tatiana's sister. Okay, so I just don't want that to be confused when we're telling the whole piece of this story, so to speak. It's good to know who's who and what's what. So that's all. I think they got it wrong, and then everyone rolled with it.
Confronted her in the past about other things, or?
Well, yes, that's a good start. Thank you. Did he ever confront her about the living situation with the boyfriend?
No, I don't think a lot of us were aware of any of that.
So that was hidden from the bio dad. Has he tried to get in touch with the mom since her body was discovered?
Everything has gone through the correct actions to communicate with the liaisons that they have in place.
I'm worried.
Ugh, I can't pause into that. Hold on.
That Maddie's dad is blaming himself.
All right, so that's a great picture right there to leave it on. I didn't want to leave it on that side of it. So this is telling the story of Tyler Wallace without telling a story. It's just what it is, folks. And thank you, JoJo, for hyping this up and getting people to like so we can get more. We are in touch with Complicit, the award-winning podcast series, and they're totally down with a capital D to even come on our show and talk to us about the Lauren case. So we're doing great things, and I appreciate every one of you here. And every time I have something to say here, I'm going to stop and let you know. But look at this. Baby Maddie, little bit older Maddie, as she goes. There's different time frames that they had her, and it was in alignment with what Jen let them have. It was all in her court. And if I can ever be allowed to show you the documents, I will.
And he should not, is he? Because that's a very normal reaction.
I think to many degrees, for sure, with my brother-in-law and my sister and just the rest of the family in general. It's hard not to. There was no signs, but it's looking back, you just, what if we could have done, or what if we would have known? And it's really hard not to live in that and see them going through it. So it's definitely been a challenge.
I just want to dig into this Nancy Grace interview a little bit.
And yes, again, thank you, Paula from Plunder. If someone could put the link down there, we always appreciate people that, it is fair. It's a fair use act, so we can all use stuff. I've seen my stuff on other channels, and I try to be as respectful as possible. So thank you, blessings to Paula, and I just wanted to use this as a way, and also to correct, because she has a huge platform, and I want to make sure people don't think it's the wrong person. But another thing I wanted to say was, if it was so normal for Jen to let Maddie sleep with Stephan and for all three of them to sleep together, why was it a hidden thing? Why didn't anyone know? The only person that ever said anything so far is the ex-roommate, CM, that made her feel uneasy when she was sleeping. She would sleep with her door open because she felt so uncomfortable about them all three sleeping in the room and just being in there for hours and hours. At that time, she didn't send Maddie to sleep with Stephan alone at the time because Grandpa lived there. Grandpa took the downstairs room, and I'm assuming that he had access to that makeshift room, so where they put that makeshift, like half a room. So if it was so normal, then why was it so hidden? Why didn't anyone know? I've never kept it hidden that my daughter, we kept giving her a time, and now she's out of our bed, but we'd always be like, okay, it's getting time. You can't sleep with us anymore. And then, okay, if it's the middle of the night and you wake up and need to go back to sleep, you can crawl in bed. But, it wasn't a secret. It's just what it was.
With Terasina Niles. So Terasina Niles is the aunt, or do you say aunt,
yes,
or auntie of Madeline Soto. Okay, so Maddie Soto, her biological mom is Jennifer Soto.
By the way, someone pointed out to me here in this picture, and I am afraid to say that Maddie looks really like drugged up, not even tired, but I want to bring this picture a little bit bigger. I'm trying to think of all the things that people message me all week or that I'm talking about. Let me drop myself down there and take a look at Maddie's eyes and take a look at Jen's eyes. Jen looks completely awake. Like she just scarfed a bunch of Adderall. Her eyes are bulging out of her head, and Maddie's got that look on her face where she's just like out of it. So I don't know what pills that they actually gave her. I don't know what she was subscribed, because you can't ask the doctor for a child's records. I can't go do that. So, but if you look at that picture, it was brought to my attention. Maddie does look really like drugged up and kind of out of it, and Jen looks like just out of her mind, bulging. What I don't get is how the school didn't call her. They changed that now. That in Florida they don't call till the end of the day. Now they changed that because of Maddie. Thank you, Angel Maddie. At my school, 10 o'clock on the dot. If my daughter's not at school, they text me and they send me an email that goes to my text messages. That has now been changed. I don't get it either, but that's just how it is.
So a lot of people are mad at her now, of course. And Jennifer Soto's boyfriend is Stephan Stearns. He's currently in jail, facing charges of her murder and other many heinous, horrible charges. So Terasina spoke to Nancy Grace. Now, Terasina, her brother is Tyler Wallace. Yes. Tyler Wallace is Maddie's biological dad. There's a lot of backlash. There's so much reading in between the lines. This story is becoming clearer, this whole dramatic situation. It's confusing. Jennifer has been married, not to Maddie's bio dad. She was married to a different man, and she wasn't married to Stephan Stearns. So it gets confusing because people are assuming Jennifer's ex-husband is Tyler, and that's not true. But let's dig into what I've been able to glean from this Nancy Grace interview. You can listen to the whole audio right now. It's down below. The link is down below, where Nancy talks to Terasina and different experts. That whole thing is almost an hour long, but Nancy has put about 5 minutes of the visuals thus far on YouTube, so I've linked to.
Yeah, we've watched it on my channel. A Crime to Remember. I think that we should look at a psychological aspect at some point, get somebody on the channel, and I'm shouting out to anybody that's listening, somebody that knows and I just hit 444, so say a prayer, good vibes, whatever, for Maddie. Listen, I'd like to get somebody on here that can explain the steps of grooming and how that process works, steps and stages of grooming, and how you can fall in love with the person that's abusing you. I'd really like to have somebody on there talking about that, because I think she went in 5 years through all of those stages. I think there was points where she was confused, where she was scared, where she was threatened, where she even thought that she may have loved him. She told her friends that I think she told her friends that she loved him, or the impression I got was she talked to him. I saw that she talked to him a lot on the phone, almost like it was a boyfriend. So they would communicate really often, text messaging and such. So I think even at some point she may have, just by knowing how clinical perspectives are and going through the stages over a 5-year period, what could happen. And I think that did happen. Finny Boutique says, question, I thought Jen said in the first body cam that she did get a notification from the school saying Maddie was absent. Does anyone know what time she received that? No, it would be after school. If she did get that, it was after school. There's so many documents, and there's 600 more pages coming out soon as Stephan Stearns' trial that probably is not going to happen, but we'll see, is coming on, what is it, July 10th, folks? I'm just saying what I hear from behind the scenes. As of right now, they haven't changed anything. But as we know, so a case of this magnitude doesn't just go right to trial that quick without interruptions or something, a hearing changing something because of something on the 25th hour. Okay. So it was after school. Yes, Maddie did have a funeral. They did not televise that like they did with the Jocelyn Nungry. And yes, I know I need to change the spelling of that. I think it's on the thumbnail, and I didn't get a clear answer, Jojo. Is it on the thumbnail? That makes a big difference of me having to change it. Okay, and I will do that. I just haven't got to it. JPLs we've used to read 1 to 2 books before bed, and often my little human would fall asleep. There were many nights when I would carry a 10-year-old to their own bed. Now I have torn tendons in my arms. I agree. I do the same thing, except I throw mine over my shoulder and I carry her to wherever she needs to go. No shame, people. When there's a family, a loving family, that their kids, there's a real thing as like, what do they call that? It's a bed that the whole family sleeps in. Let's say you have like 4 or 5, family of 4 or 5, and it's the family bed. There's no shame in that. There is shame in handing your baby daughter to a boyfriend that's not a boyfriend, that's off and on into kinky stuff. You're into kinky stuff. There's a shame in that. So for everybody trying to, that wants to justify who sleeps with where and how your children are, you're not, and I'm not Jen Soto and Stephan Stearns. It is quite normal. All of my cousins grew up that way. They had a family bed and everybody would sleep in the bed because the kids were scared or what have you. It's not a not normal thing. It's just making people feel guilty because of what happened. Ninja 808 says, I worked at a group home for girls in the foster system and they saw and worked with a ton of SA victims. I'd be happy to share some insight. That would be great. If you would please email me. Don't forget to hit that like button. Email me. I would love to. Sorry about that. Guilty of crime. I would really like somebody that has that knowledge that can talk to me about the stages or steps of grooming and how the victim goes through them and what ultimately happens, especially after a 5-year period, folks. She was never taught about healthy relationship and love. It's all she knew and had thought it was normal. Exactly. All right, which I was assuming the Astro trying to get a rise out of someone. Oh yeah, chat's flying, folks. So I'm doing the best I can. I appreciate every single one of you. I don't know if I missed anybody or anything, but bunch of gifted memberships and a few super stickers and chats. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's get on with this show. Never feel like you need to give something. Only thing I ask you to do is hit the like button, and if you can, share it, but never feel like you need to give something or feel shamed into not giving me money or whatever the heck. Never heard of such a thing until now. All right, let's keep going.
To that too. So let's dig into Terasina's words, what she's saying between the lines, some of the horrible backlash she's getting unfairly, I believe. I mean, this family is suffering. And let's go a bit more into what I found. We've talked about it before slightly, but now that Tyler and his wife have spoken out, as well as her sister, I feel more comfortable saying their names. But let's talk about what Jennifer went through with Tyler when Maddie was just a little baby, through the court systems in terms of like DNA and child support and all that stuff. And
yes, we love that Plunder does Plunder does this. I love the information she gets. She absolutely is just phenomenal. And she doesn't do lives. I don't think that she does live streams, which keeps a lot of the drama out. She's smart to keep the drama out and just do her thing and research all day. I'm going to start doing more of the videos where I'm not doing lives, and I'll keep a good balance so that I can not have as many, talking interruptions that I do myself. But this is what I love, real information.
The picture it paints as to how this crime might have happened. I keep asking myself, did Jennifer keep Maddie away from her bio dad? And it seems like Terasina, if you read between her lines, that's why I like transcribing what they're saying. It sounds like that's what she's getting at. So Nancy is asking her to tell us about Madeline, and she's saying, of course, she was the light of, her bio dad and her stepmom's eyes. Their love for her definitely just seeped into the rest of us in the family. Then she said, we just had this hope and prayer that one day we would be able to have more time with her, spend more time basically with Maddie. She wanted to watch Maddie be able to grow up and go through the milestones. I'm sure she expected to watch her go off to high school, graduate high school, maybe go to college, maybe get married, maybe become a mom herself one day. You kind of take for granted all the young people in your life are just going to do that, and you get to watch and make memories as a family, she said. But we weren't given that opportunity. So a lot of it was watching afar. So she's not necessarily talking about the murder yet at this point. She's saying we didn't see the milestones, basically, or really get to make memories as a family because we were watching from afar. So we know Maddie's bio dad and her stepmom live in Texas somewhere. It was a pretty far drive that, he drove all the.
So come to find out, Houston, Texas, which is a big city. Maddie probably would have loved it in Houston. I think she would have had to get to know them and feel comfortable. But it's also hard to step outside of yourself, I would imagine, when you're being abused and you live in this little box where you don't feel comfortable opening up to anybody. So yeah, I'd love to get psychological, like the psychological aspect of this somebody on my channel that will actually be willing to speak with me. So if it's collaboration with another channel or somebody that's confident enough to just come on here and tell me what you think, somebody that has a degree and knows their stuff. And even if you don't have a degree, you can just have the knowledge. And by the way, I just have to say, this says on my hand, it says stay humble. Anyway, somebody said something about humble, just so you know. I tattooed stay humble on my hand many years ago because it's easy to not stay humble. And that's how we roll around here. So I thought I'd call that out real quick. Astro from space, from Houston. She would have been great here. I agree. That would have been an awesome place to grow up. I've been there. Cool scene, cool music. It would have been a great place, better than where she was. Not because of the place, but and I agree with you on that. And she's not as dumb or incapable as we think. I think there was a lot of strings that she was pulling that we have no idea yet. Notice how you use the term yet.
Away as soon as he heard Maddie was missing. Tell me about your daughter.
Maddie was just the most important person to my wife and I. She was just full of joy.
Tyler Wallace had last spoken to his daughter on her birthday. He had no idea it would be the last time. How did you find out?
I was informed through the phone call from Jennifer that she was missing.
What was her demeanor?
Jennifer's?
Was she calm? Was she freaking out?
I would say anxious.
The next morning, he got in his car and drove from Texas to Florida, only stopping for gas. But shortly after he got here, Madeline Soto's body was found in this rural area of Osceola County. Her mother's boyfriend, Stephan Stearns, is charged with sexual battery and possession of child sex abuse material. He is the main suspect in her murder after investigators say Stearns is on video dumping her backpack and laptop in a dumpster in the early morning hours of the day Maddie was reported missing. Did your daughter ever indicate that something was going on in that house?
Not to me, no.
What did you think of Stephan Stearns?
I had interacted with him on Instagram a couple of times loosely, just kind of seeing if he gave me the ick or if he seemed okay. And as far as I was interpreting his demeanor, he seemed like a warm, interested, but like not responsive very often person.
What do you think of him now?
I don't want to say that on camera.
And I bet you if he would have known that Maddie was being sent to sleep with Stephan Stearns at night and all the other weird things, he would have been very upset and he would have felt a lot different. Corey Edwards says it's hard to be from a military family. The parents don't have a lot of time to put their children first. Well, they travel a lot is the problem. It doesn't mean they don't put their children first. It just means that they have to travel and it takes a lot of time away, and you can still put your children first with a career, but you only have so much time. So I'm not sure about that. I guess I would just say word it a little different and say your children could be first, but your time is limited and traveling takes a lot of time. So all the military people, I salute you for what you do, and you're sacrificing your time with your children, your time with your spouse and everything. So, shout out to all the people in the military, and, to rest in peace, Maddie and Tyler and Tatiana. If you do see this episode, please know I'm here for you. If you ever need an outlet, or you just want to talk behind the scenes or want to get something out, I'm here. All right. Seems like Tyler was a great dad. I agree. And he would be a great dad now if he had the chance to, but he doesn't, because the evil potato took that away, along with Stephan Stearns, which we know is behind bars.
I can't communicate to you. Every father knows what I'm thinking right now.
Tyler met with Kissimmee police about their ongoing investigation. But do you think that Jennifer Soto knows more?
I don't know, and I am interested in knowing, but I don't have reason to believe one way or the other right now. These are the things that the investigators are looking into.
And now he won't get that chance. Instead, he's here to take the little girl's ashes home to be with him.
I actually want to know what you have, Astro from Space, when it comes out. Don't say I told y'all months ago. I want to know. I actually like having healthy debates or healthy conversations. It doesn't have to be a debate. I want to know what you know. I am not that person that will say, I told you so. I'm not going to be like that. And if I'm wrong, I'll say, wow, I was off. My sources were not right. And my gut feelings were wrong. And all the documentation I interpreted incorrectly. I won't be, I won't be not humble about it. No, I'm a troll, they saying. No, I don't think you're a troll, but I do want to hear your opinion. Please don't block Astrospace. I just want to know what you're saying. All right.
Now, was Jen a good mother?
I don't know how I can excuse this. I don't know how I can excuse this. I don't know the whole truth, though. I need to hear more. I need to hear more to answer that question.
Shannon Butler, WFTV Tonight.
But the way she phrases it, we weren't given that opportunity. That leads me to believe that I think Maddie was kept away. You know how some people kind of play keep away with their kids. Oh, you're not going to go get to see your real dad for whatever reason if the mom is mad at the dad. So this case, which I'm just really so obsessed with Maddie getting her justice and seeing it through, I think it can be a learning lesson, as Terasina is going to talk about, or Nancy Grace will talk about too, and what will be the lessons for other parents to avoid such a tragedy. But Terasina said when they did get a chance to have her and be with Maddie, they spent every moment cherishing it. It almost sounds like, maybe Maddie was allowed, okay, here you go, you're allowed to go spend this time with your dad. Maybe when Jennifer got tired of her own daughter or something. I don't know. Terasina said it was very difficult. This is all difficult to understand. And now that they are especially finding out in real time, unfortunately, with the rest of the world, this nightmare that Maddie was living through and went through. And it's been incomprehensible to us, she said. So Terasina, yes, is indeed Maddie's aunt on the dad's side. And some people are coming, I'm reading wild comments, but some people, of course, have a lot of grace for her and Tyler and Tatiana, and other people just rant and they say, okay, everybody failed Maddie. But as Terasina is going to go through, she's going to say not everyone knew, there weren't signs, not to blame Maddie, of course, at all, but Maddie didn't necessarily tell anyone. There was no specific outcry. For example, it sounds like that Maddie made to her own bio dad or her stepmom. Maybe she just felt a lot more comfortable when she was with them, and maybe it was just that chance to relax and breathe and know you're not going to be harmed. But as far as saying, Stephan Stearns is doing this to me and making me film these horrible videos, and he's been doing it, as young as I can remember, since I was 8 years old, and I don't think any kind of outcry happened. But she said something interesting too when Nancy asked Terasina.
I'm still trying to figure out what Astrospace is saying because chat's flying so fast. So if anyone wants to capture that for me about I told all this months ago in other channels. No one believes me. I read the documents we all have. Awesome. I definitely love to hear it. All right. Anyway, justice for Maddie. Let's not lose sight of that. We definitely want justice for Maddie, and we're all here, whether we have the same ideas or not.
Terasina, do you know whether the bio dad has confronted Maddie's mother?
Wow.
And she answered, confronted her in the past about other things, or?
All right. On that note, Lauren, I think Wisconsin, thank you for the 1999 super chat. You say there's no doubt that Maddie is with you in spirit and helping this community to get justice, and it will come. Remember, if you see something, say something. Be in the light, in this darkness, continue to advocate and change laws. And I appreciate you so very much for saying that. Thank you for feeling safe and comfortable enough on my channel to be able to say that, because I agree with you and just I appreciate it. I can't even, I'm speechless. All right, let's go. Thank you.
So I found that pretty interesting. Obviously, that lends itself to a lot of turmoil must have been happening between these parents as they tried to co-parent. Nancy just said, well, yes, that's a good start. Did he ever confront her about the living situation with the boyfriend? And that's when Terasina said, no, I don't think a lot of us were aware of any of that. Nancy says, yeah, it was hidden even from the bio dad. But has Tyler tried to get in touch with Jen since Maddie's body was discovered? And Terasina just said everything's gone through the correct actions to communicate with the liaisons they have in place. Like we know Tyler, through his lawyer, got Maddie's ashes, at least part of them or all of them, I don't know, from Jen Soto. Nancy was worried that Maddie's dad is blaming himself, and she said he should not. And is he? Because that's a normal reaction. Terasina answered, to many degrees, for sure, with my brother-in-law and with my sister, the rest of the family in general, it's hard not to play that what-if game. Even though there were no signs, she's saying like they still play the what-if game. What if we could have done something, or what if we would have known? It's really hard not.
And it's interesting because even CM, the roommate that lived there, when the documentation shows that it happened right after she moved out and then Juan moved out, within that same month, pictures started coming. And even she is feeling that way. What could she have done? Why didn't she see it? She left her door open for a reason, and now she knows why, but there was nothing she could have done. Astro saying Stephan and Madeline were in an actual relationship and Jen was the third wheel. Well, like I said, there's different stages of grooming and different stages of abuse and how it plays out. So I don't know which stage it was in. And I believe at some point that Maddie probably did feel a certain way. She was 13. She was starting to be the age with, you have a boyfriend or whatever. So there could have been at some point there was a portion of that. I'd love to have my friend come on here. He's very open about what happened to him and his abuse. And he's also a man of God. Like, he's really into God. I wouldn't say spiritual, but religious. He has a degree in like something about the Bible. I don't even know what it is, but I do know he was abused by his father. Full on relationship from 14 to 16, I'm going to say. And he talks about it freely all the time. Like, they were completely full on having a relationship, SA relationship. And 14 to 16 is like when you have relationships with your first time girlfriend. And he was fully into they were doing that. And now he's 40, my age, 40, like 4 or 45. And he talks about it. And he never told anybody. He never said anything. And there's different stages that he went through of, this is bad, I feel shamed. And then there was even points that he liked it. I dare to say, because it sounds shocking. I don't know how else to say that, but like, people get aroused. I don't know. That's all. I would love to have him on someday if he'd want to talk about that. He's awesome. Anyway, he went through that, and there's many stages of it. Cisneros 23, shout out from Denver, Colorado. Thank you. My family is from Grand Junction, which is like a little tiny town, Grand Junction, Colorado. And when I visit them, I love going out that way, and Denver's awesome. So, Great Pubs at JoJo. What is that? I think Gray Pubs is on right now, kicking the can. Where's my pan so I can handle it? Can someone hand me my pan so I can handle the pan, folks? All right. The theology is the study of religion or Bible. Thank you, Sam, which I appreciate that. And he has that. All right. And we love all opinions. Astro from Space says, all I've been saying is it can happen. The roommate kept the door open, so she knew it was wrong. Maybe Maddie may have liked, no matter how wrong it was. It's not blaming Maddie. Agreed. There could have been certain points in the stages. That's what I'm saying. There's stages you go through. So we're all saying the same thing, folks. And nothing was happening yet. Astro from Space. It didn't happen yet. The documentation didn't happen until after her and Juan moved out. So she had a gut feeling that something wasn't right. So her gut feeling told her that, but it hadn't happened yet, according to documentation.
Had to live in that space, and to see Maddie's bio dad, Tyler, and Tatiana going through that, it's definitely been a challenge. I can't imagine. The things that really bother Terasina, though, something about the timeline of the case. Maybe she didn't expound upon a lot of things. Of course, you're limited in time, but I don't know if she meant the timeline of the case by learning that Stephan Stearns had been doing these horrible things to Maddie since she was an 8-year-old. Maybe that's what she meant by the timeline. A lot of her family, Terasina's family, she said they have not read through the documents. I can imagine how difficult that would be. Nearly 900 pages released so far, and you guys might have watched my previous video from the state's attorney's office. The records manager told me there are actually 1,500 pages thus far. That's about as huge as the Chris Watts discovery. Lord knows how much bigger this discovery will get, and we don't know when they'll be able to release more. We'll just see. But I can't imagine being a family.
Look at that sway she's got going on. And if you could do me a favor, ask her from space. I can't see the chat, but I think people are feeling just the way it's being worded is disrespectful. So if you can just like not focus on Maddie and like intimate details about that, I don't want to, I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable in chat. And we're all here to be friends with each other. So if we are all hanging out and someone said, "You're making me feel uncomfortable the way you're talking," I can't see all the chat, but yeah, let's just be chill, please. We're talking about a 13-year-old girl that was assaulted for years in a terrible way, and now she's not alive because of this guy and this one not watching out for her. So this is a case about true crime, and yeah, I'm not trying to exploit or say shocking words.
Remember reading through all these horrific, nightmarish things about someone I loved. So Terasina has seen a lot of the documents, on social media and the description of how Maddie was found. Nancy Grace reiterated, did, Maddie never say a word to her dad about it? And Terasina said no.
Which aspect of the new information just released is the most concerning to you?
I think the biggest aspect has been the timelines that you're ready to hear, but you're never ready to hear. And so seeing those kind of lay out and essentially a lot of my family and we haven't read through the documents, but I have seen quite a bit from social media, and it's just devastating. And the description of how she was found and just things of that nature, you're never ready to hear something like that, especially when it's somebody that you've watched grow up and,
And I bet anything she never said a word to her dad about it.
No. We wouldn't be like, none of this would have happened if we even had an inkling. So I think that was another, thing from the documents. Once we saw how many other of her friends and people didn't know either. And it doesn't take the pain away or the guilt that's there, but it does show that that nobody knew that closest to her. And it really is devastating other than the people that did know, I guess.
And yeah, I do want to say that, we get all upset and everybody's emotions are flying with episodes like this. And this is not just an episode, it's real life. So I know there's people that also have come to me and have been abused. And so there's a lot of triggers when you hear certain words. And that's why I try to tone it down and not say these things, because people have triggers. And yeah, so let's just be cool. Melanie, thank you. And I just hit 555, which is an angel number. So don't forget, say a prayer for Maddie, her family. Paul is in chat, and Paul's daughter is missing, and who knows what happened. Paul DeMulo and Lauren DeMulo. So we don't want to say things like bad, we want to keep it classy. And we want to say hashtag arrest Jen Soto. 555, all good people. All right, let's keep going.
Ms. Niles, did you guys have any idea that the mother was just basically sending Maddie off to sleep with the boyfriend at night?
Not at all. Not at all. So all of this is news.
How is Maddie's dad reacting to all this? He must be devastated.
It's been difficult to just see my brother-in-law, Tyler, and my sister, Tatiana, just go through any of this just because they loved her so deeply. And it's incomprehensible. I truly can't even find the words to convey the devastation that I'm witnessing and seeing and reading. It just makes everyone really sick, really, really, really sick.
Terasina Niles, this is Maddie's aunt. Terasina, what is your message to parents listening tonight?
When Maddie passed away at the funeral.
That is so utterly sad. And right when I saw this, 555 came up. So prayers to Maddie and her family. If you guys do see this, we're all sending love to you, and we're going to see it all the way through this case. We're going to keep it respectful, but we also want to make sure that nobody is attacking the Wallace family. I truly believe that they did their very best, and they absolutely love Maddie, and I wish we can go back in time. So if we can go back in time, it would be awesome. And maybe in another life, if there's another life, Tyler and Tatiana will have that opportunity to be with Maddie. Such a beautiful young girl, and ugh, heartbreaking. I don't like to think of all the things that happen.
We all went as a family, and promised her that she didn't die in vain. And I wanted to work really hard and ensuring that with, taking care of being strong for my family and also being strong for her. I know that since this has all started and happened, I've worked with many advocates that are local in Florida, and they really helped kind of bring all these communities that have reached out to my family and I, supporting us during all of this.
Thank you.
And it's solely on Maddie's behalf, and it hasn't gone unnoticed for sure.
None of this would have happened if we had an inkling. From the documents, they also see how many other people didn't know. Nobody knew closest to her other than the people that did know, she said. So it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely not a fact. Laura Bell, I'm not sure what channel you're coming from or where you're coming from, but Tyler Wallace was there exactly how he could have been. The court documentation says otherwise, and you saw right away, right from the very beginning, that Tyler Wallace was served with papers to pay child support right out of the gate. And then I'm telling you that lawyers came along and pushed him as far as they could. So if that's a fact, then you must know the family and think something else, because that is absolutely not a fact. He did the absolute best that he can. He couldn't even speak at the vigil. He was so broken up that Tatiana had to speak. So I don't know where you're coming from, or if I'm wasting my time even talking to you because you're just, trolling. But these are the things I'm going to clear up tonight, and then I won't talk about it again because it will speak for itself as it unfolds. And I hope that it has, with what Tyler has done and the level of love that he's shown and the support after the fact of what's happened. He was silent before until he was ready, and he got to see her when this evil lady let him, period. She had all of the strings to pull and all of the rights.
And she said, other than the people who did know, as opposed to other than the person who did know. I wonder if she thinks Jennifer indeed knew everything. I don't know. But Nancy again asked, did Tyler have any idea that Jennifer was just sending their daughter Maddie off to sleep with Stearns at night? And no, not at all. Tatiana and Tyler loved her so deeply. I see what Terasina means about, if we had an inkling that something was wrong, I'm sure they would have moved heaven and earth to just keep Maddie there. For example, if Maddie did make an outcry, if Maddie was in Texas spending time with her bio dad and her stepmom, because, they take photos together. I know they had seen each other, I guess, last in October of 2023, I believe it was.
I love what I had of her, but we were supposed to have so much more.
Today, only Channel 9's investigative reporter Shannon Butler sat down with Madeline's father as well as...
Yeah, that's a great picture right there, folks. It's far and few between that we get to see, but some people just don't want to be out in the public and be scrutinized. They're there. They've been there. They showed up, and they're doing what they can, but they don't also want to be in the spotlight. If they were in the spotlight, people would say, oh, they're just trying to get their 15 minutes of fame or write a story, but yeah, that's not true. So there's Tyler, Tatiana, and then I believe, obviously, that's going to be Tyler's mother. All right. And this mother was at the vigil and at the funeral. All three of them were.
Her stepmother and grandmother. She's live now in the studio, and Shannon, certainly an emotional interview.
Yeah, it was a difficult interview for him, but he wanted people to know about his daughter and even their sometimes complicated relationship. And there's so much more to that interview. We sat with that family for about 90 minutes today. They are in town not only to try to get those ashes, but there is a community vigil tomorrow that they are planning on.
By the way, wait, where's Davey? I'm going to have a where in the world is Davey? Just because he's in a different part of the world. And then I saw Bree earlier, but what happened to Bree? Wolfpack's here, Carly's here, and JoJo's definitely here. JoJo, we love you. All right, Wolfpack, we love you. You're part of the family. So I've got Carly, JoJo, and wolf pack here. Okay. Marcia, I totally agree. Please stop. All right, Marcia, I'm gonna totally agree. Stop. Yeah. Yeah, just be nice, y'all. We're talking about a little girl that was brutally essayed and her life taken. So Supernova. Jojo, yeah, Jojo for show, the real MVP. Love you, man. You're awesome.
Attending. They just couldn't believe how much community support they did receive.
You asked the questions that so many are asking, and this is another question.
I can't wait to see the rest of that interview. Great reporting there. Incredible insight from, Maddie's biological father.
Wow, what a story. All right.
And, obviously they did some
Bree
things together.
is
But
back.
if they had had any inkling, if they had learned something was really wrong, I'm sure.
Thank you, Bree. Sometimes you disappear in a way that I'm like, All right, Lauren, 1999, another one. I'm a nurse. Okay. Well, you're a good person to talk to then, because you're an SA nurse, had been groomed and essayed yourself, hence why I chose this career. Unfortunately, seems a lot of members have endured the same. I'm so sorry. I'm open to discuss facts on grooming, etc. Hope to connect to you later. Thank you so much for that giving, and I would love to talk to you. A lot of members on this channel are, and thanks, Bree, for being here. It's funny how all of y'all disappear in little portions. I know you don't want to hear for the whole time, but yeah, funny. This world of YouTube is very funny, y'all. If you guys are thinking about starting a channel, maybe think again. Except for Bree, I absolutely think Bree should start her own channel. She has all the information. Her timestamping's on point, better than she takes the words out of my head from my head, and I didn't even talk to her about it. And she just does over the top research, amazing. So, you guys, with what I told you, who thinks Bree should start her own channel? Have you heard her talk before too? She's got that voice. Anyway, I'm trying to make light of a funny of a situation that's not funny and keep it funny. Oh my god! Well, if I can get a bunch of ones coming in there. If you guys think that Bree should start her own channel, put a 1 while we're listening to this. All right, let's go. Well, if you did it your own channel, then I can collab with you. All right.
They would have tried to gather all the proof they could against Stearns to not have to even send Maddie back anywhere near him and have him arrested a lot earlier and prevent, of course, this horrible death. Nancy asked Terasina about a message to any of the parents listening. I like that Terasina said, at the funeral, we all went as a family and they promised Maddie that she didn't die in vain. Ooh, I think that's also the lesson of this case. It's like, why did Maddie have to suffer so much? She can become sort of a symbol, an emblem, not for what she suffered, but for helping others recognize all the signs of an abuser in the home. And if Jennifer didn't recognize the signs of the abuser in the home, or if there's any mother out there acting like she's acting now, maybe this will say, hey, I better stop this. I better stop.
This is also amazing that Plunder calls this out. Thank you, Susan Travers, for the $9.99 super sticker, and it's unanimous. Bree, you got to start your own channel, so you got to get to that this weekend, and then we can collaborate. Yeah, Jen was too tired to attend 10 hours. Yeah, Consuela, you nailed it. Consuelo, I mean, you nailed it. She barely worked. She was using the system as much as she could. We heard it from the roommate. She was, getting SSI. Her daddy was paying for stuff. Her mommy was paying for stuff. And she was yet too tired to attend a birthday party, to show up for her daughter. So that is not what a grieving mother looks like at any point. And don't give me that excuse that she was too drugged up. Oh, you guys are being awesome. Thank you. Autism Mom of Two, Sherry, $10 super sticker. Thank you guys for the support. I really do appreciate that. And I appreciate that I don't have to sit there and handle a pan. And then when no one hands the pan, then my then my mods start giving me money. Please don't do that. If my mods have to start giving me money, then we're done. Then I'm just It's over with. I love you guys. Thank you.
Stop being so trusting. I better, not keep my child away from her bio dad as long as her bio dad is treating her correctly, is treating her nicely and kindly, or all the lessons. Or if Jennifer did know what was happening, it can be a lesson to others surrounding them, saying, okay, wait, that's weird. This guy is telling me stuff, or this mom is saying something weird, or I'm noticing that the 13-year-old is going off to sleep with the 38-year-old and the mom is okay with them going in that other room. Maybe I should just put in a little anonymous report. Let me just keep reporting it. If I'm afraid to put it in, under my name, or maybe I can secretly somehow tell someone in order to deliver this child out of this madness. Now, Maddie being abused from the age of 8 to the age of 13, over the 5 years, there might have been people who not necessarily knew the abuse was happening, but found just some weird stuff going on. And maybe they were just too afraid to say anything. And that can help other people. But I took a little dive back into that nearly 900-page document, and I was looking for all the instances of dad and father to see how I could relate it to this video, to paint a complete picture of what was going on here. Now, page 31.
That's really cool that she did that. And I'm excited to hear this because she's right. There's so many times that she said that. Dad or father, or they referred to each other as like a husband, wife, when in reality, that wasn't at all. They were just using that to make the cops ease up on them, I believe, in my opinion. Wow. And thank you, Melissa Johnson, for gifting 5 memberships. You must be doing better. You got to tell us. You got to tell me. You got to message me. I haven't heard from you in a while, by the way. Let me know what's going on with you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right, let's keep going and listen how many times now. This is a tactic to slow down the police and not look at that guy. Because if it was just like, oh, this is my ex-boyfriend or this is my boyfriend, we just got back together, whatever, the cops would be looking at him. They wouldn't be saying the stepfather. They would have looked at him sooner than later. And I also believe that they put Jennifer Soto and Stephan Stearns up in that hotel on purpose. I wonder if they had it bugged when they did that, because they did put them up in a hotel when they were searching the condo for evidence. They put them in a hotel. So this was already when they started having suspicion of Stephan Stearns. Jen is so effed up. How in the world can a person let this happen and be patting the back who did the most viable? Well, maybe he did something for her, folks. Maybe he cleaned up the mess for her. Just saying. And thank you, Gothic Bree. This is for all the Crime Crew members who would like to donate but financially are unable to. We would appreciate each and every one of you. Please like the video. We appreciate you, and I'm glad that you're interacting with the Crime Crew. You do a lot of the behind the scenes work, but I'd like for you to be more active. That's why I say start a channel, because everybody would love to hear the knowledge you have. It's like mind blowing. Thank you again. I appreciate that.
One, Stephan stated that Maddie called him her bonus dad. Maddie then sang for him, and it reminded him of Sister Act. Well, that term bonus dad came about in a good way initially. Well, at least I thought it was. Initially, I remember hearing Jada Pinkett Smith when she married Will Smith, and he already had his young son, Trey. And instead of calling herself like, oh, that's my stepson, or I'm his stepmom, she would say, that's my bonus son. It makes it sound a bit more positive, but I don't know. In this instance, Stephan is pumping himself up and saying, Maddie called me her bonus dad, a title he did not deserve in any way. Now, page 33, Stephan stated he was like a stepfather to Maddie, and she thinks of him as a dad. So no wonder the cops and so many investigators included that wording in their reports, because it's Stephan who keeps saying it. He's like a stepfather to Maddie. She thinks of him as a dad. Well, she also told a counselor she thinks of him as a weirdo, a layabout who eats all their food, and made her uncomfortable. Well, page 107, there was an interview with a friend, and the friend further stated that Maddie only mentioned her biological father briefly, but said she was always on a call with her stepdad, Stephan. There's another part where she's not talking about Tyler that much, and she's always on a call with her stepdad, Stephan. Like the way Stephan weaseled himself into their lives, it's almost like the perfect horrible storm of a woman with low self-esteem and problems and looking for a man, obviously. And this woman happens to have this young daughter. The dad is not in their lives, and why? I don't know, but Stephan obviously easily used it to snake his way into their lives and try and take the place of, I'm the stepdad, Maddie thinks of me as.
Yeah, it's summer yet. The roommate didn't report anything because there was nothing to report at the time, and it wasn't her business. She's talked to a counselor about this, but Stephan Stearns and Jennifer Soto were dating. They had just started dating. I don't know if I would have went as far as to report because nothing was happening yet. I agree that maybe she could have said something to Jen, but remember that was where she lived. Jen was renting her a room and doing her a favor. So maybe she could have had the conversation, but it really wasn't her. In hindsight, it was none of her business to say to Jen, "Why do you sleep with that mate?" She could have said that. "Why do you three sleep in that room?" But I don't know what her situation was, and I would never want to tell her that. So, CM, if you're listening to this, you did everything that you could, and keep talking to your counselor so that you don't feel like you could have done something different. And now that you've learned it, if you ever have that situation again, obviously you'll do something. But who would have ever thought that this would happen? So I appreciate you saying that, Summer. But yeah, now that we know this, I agree. Before, there's no way.
As that stepdad, and I'm in constant communication with her, grooming her and confusing her as to what love truly means. Page 113, a friend being interviewed also stated that Maddie's mother threatened to kick her out. And this has got to be heartbreaking, but it says additionally, and it looks like it's the word Maddie, even though things are redacted, Maddie did not like her father. Now, if that's true, I hope they delve more into that, of course, as this case goes on. Why? Maddie looks like she has such love for her dad. I'm not sure why that was being said. Did she feel abandoned by her dad? And was it really because she was being kept away from him? We know these situations can get really confusing. On page 872, there's an interview, I believe it was with Jennifer on February 27, 2024, because it has all these claims that Maddie had such a good time and was happy from her birthday party and all that, which we know wasn't really true. The last time Maddie was in trouble was weeks prior to this incident. So weeks prior.
Again, a lot of people should have done stuff. Just Christine, I agree. If we'd have known the magnitude of this case, absolutely. However, I don't know that a cop would even do anything if she went to the police and said, "This man stays the night at his ex-girlfriend's house, and one morning he woke up with wood." I think they'd say, "Well, can you talk to him more about him?" Maybe you're right, but I think she did what she should do, and she broke up with him right away because I think he was trying to get at her kid. I would love to know if this lady has a daughter and what age. I'm glad she dumped him for it, but I think he was trying to get at her daughter if she had one. And I wish I wish I could see all the conversations going on. But yeah, I think that lady did the right thing by now coming forward so she can be a witness and talk about him like doing that. Amber Day got membership. Melissa, let me look at the other names. All right, y'all. Love you all.
Prior to Maddie's still missing at this point. The last time she was in trouble was weeks prior, but Jen does not remember the exact reason why. So much stuff she can't remember. When Jen went through Maddie's phone, she found texts stating when she turned 18, she was going to leave and that her mom was acting crazy and that her mom was going to send Maddie to her father's home. It says Maddie's bio father, it's redacted. And then it says, and although the two communicate sometimes by phone, they do not frequently see each other, and he is not very involved in her life. Let me tell you what my mind has filled in from looking at these court documents about the situation. Now, I don't know when Jennifer and Tyler would have hooked up. I don't know the history. I don't know any of that stuff. But I do see that a paternity DOR case was filed on June 3rd, 2011. This was less than 4 months after Maddie was born on February 22nd, 2011. So Jennifer Soto was the petitioner and Tyler J. Wallace was the respondent in that case. So already, I don't know if it was just like a brief hookup, if they were boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever, but obviously Jennifer got pregnant by Tyler. And 4 months after Maddie was born, she's taken him to court, so there must have been some kind of issue there. She wanted to find out the paternity. So a summons was issued on June 3rd, and the custody issues seemed to begin when Maddie was just a little baby. Now, these non-public court documents only allow us to be privy to their descriptions and not the.
All right. And so this is where we start talking about documents, what can be shown, what can't. Now, Plunder is obviously the queen of documents. She's on it. She keeps us posted. It's awesome that she makes videos to tell us about the documents. So she does all the right things in the way that she should. And there's certain things, even if you do find It's just morally irresponsible to share things. Thank you so much, Laura H., for gifting a membership. And I can't wait for the next. I cannot wait for the next official crime crew. I don't know what we're gonna do yet. I'd like to know ideas, but I can't wait for it. I love those. They're super chill. Yeah, sweet baby Maddie. Man, so freaking cute.
The actual contents. There was a petition, a financial affidavit, a civil cover sheet, a request for admissions, or certificate of compliance. All that happened on June 3rd. Maddie was just a baby. Jennifer has this lawyer. She's obviously fighting, I guess, to get Tyler to recognize paternity and to get money out of him. There was a summons returned by July 14th, affidavits of service, summons, letters. There was finally a hearing nearly on Maddie's birthday, nearly when she was a 1-year-old. So this was February 16th, 2012. They finally get their day in court. It's been a whole year later. There's a hearing, there's court minutes, there's exhibits, there's a report, recommendation, hearing, and order, evidence control sheet the next day. And then finally, by February 27th, 2012, there's an order for income deduction, and there's a final judgment. So Maddie's over a year now, and we can't see what this order for income deduction was, but it was obvious.
But we kind of filled that in with the amount back in 2012. Jennifer Soto went in right away for the kill, and I don't know, no pun intended, but maybe. No, Summer, I wish everybody had all the time to watch all the videos, but there's a bunch of videos that you probably didn't get a chance to see because it's a lot of hours. If you watch The Roommate, I think there might be 3 of them, and the abuse didn't happen until after she moved out. So, yeah, she didn't know more, and if she did, she definitely would have said something. She's one of those people, see something, say something. God's mercy, 77 justice for Maddie. Good night. Thank you all for being here, by the way. You could be anywhere else, but you're here.
Obviously, Jennifer taking Tyler to court to recognize that he is Maddie's bio dad. I just feel like when there's a situation like this, all this ire might be against the bio dad. Maybe Jennifer felt angry that she had to go through these means to get him to pay support. Well, by April 9th, 2012,
Thank you.
there was a certified notice of delinquent support. And by June of that same year, there was an alias summons returned unserved, and there was a certificate of delinquency recorded. Stuff happens, believe me.
We love you, Melissa. You want to be a mod. You got to talk to Carly about that one. Carly, if you want to put your email in chat, I don't know if we need mods just yet, but let's hit the 20,000 mark, 50,000 mark. There's other things you can help us with though. Juror 13, Audrey Carmen was reported missing February 15th, not coming home from school. She was found on the 20th. Faces 2 counts of capital. Ooh, that's a case I want to look into. There's so many cases, but let's focus on what we have. I think Maddie had an old soul. Crime to remember. We need to talk more than on the lives.
Yeah, I know it. Considering how much money I owe the IRS right now, I'm paying them off. And I'm not making any excuses for any person who is behind on their child support payments. I'm just trying to say, I know what it's like to, work hard and try and meet your obligations and pay. We don't know the story behind any of this stuff. Nearly every year after that, 2013, 2014, 2017, and then 2020, and now 2024, there have been Department of Revenue intercept credits. And I can put all these dates below for the people who like to read that. And it's so ironic. As late as March 13th, 2024, there was a Department of Revenue intercept credit that can be seen. This is all public record on the Orange County Clerk's website. So what does that Department of Revenue intercept credit mean? It's an interagency intercept occurs when a program receives a request from one of the participating agencies to intercept tax refunds, lottery winnings, unclaimed profits.
I freaking love how she breaks down. And Catherine V. I don't know how to say it, but we're going to call you Catherine V. Hello, Catherine. You're a little late, but you never miss and hardly talk. Well, that's why I wanted to shout you out since you hardly talk. And thanks, Melissa Johnson, for thinking that we're awesome. You have our emails. You are part of this. And yeah, you can talk about what you want to do. But you got to talk to Carly. Carly's my freaking boss. I have a couple of bosses. Otherwise, I'd just be running rampant. My mom, SoCal, she's not really my boss, but just kidding. SoCal brought my mom, badmouthed my dad. He didn't pay child support and was an alcoholic. I always felt like I had to act like I didn't like him either. I felt guilty for wanting to see him. Parental alienation, I think, encompasses all of that. I want to hear the psychological aspect of what's going on with this case in a nutshell. So for kids that's going, so kids that's happened to right now can learn more. And I want to learn more about it with you all. JPL, you're awesome. I see you on other channels all the time. Paul says this poor little girl's life has been nothing but turmoil, abuse since she was 8. And if this guy doesn't get the death penalty, there's something wrong with our justice system. I agree. And I think the only way he's not going to get it is if somebody else is involved and he tells that and has a story. Yes, it's amazing how she's breaking everything down. Thanks for sharing this with us, Jay. You're welcome. That's funny, you guys. I love hearing you guys' comments. Carly is the boss. Carly just says nope or yep, smash. And I'm like, okay, talk to you later. All right.
Property payments from individuals or business entities who owe delinquent amounts. So it can happen. Wages can get garnished. But my point is just to say, not to victimize any victims. I truly believe Maddie's dad, after watching his interviews, I believe it was WFTV. Oh my goodness, I've been waiting for more of them. He was genuinely upset. He didn't have any inkling about Stearns being a creep. He talked about checking him out a little bit, maybe on Instagram, and maybe he thought he was an okay guy. They hadn't really gotten deep into any type of discussions. He said, every father knows what I'm.
Okay, guys, you guys got you have. Do you know what I'm about to say right now? This is a big man with that little girl, folks. And JoJo, I want to say you're amazing. You're not getting better at it. Carly and I talk about you all the time, and you're fantastic. Don't change anything. Okay, so when I told you that Stephan Stearns and Jennifer Soto had the gastric sleeve, some naysayers said that that's not true. Stephan Stearns was never overweight. Look at him there. This is when he first met Jen Soto. They both had gastric sleeves because they were overweight, and that's how they bonded. So they started out being friends, and that is Stephan Stearns, 6 foot. How tall is he, you guys? I think he's 6'2". Correct me if I'm wrong, but 6'2", probably 400 pounds there. I don't know if he's 6'2" or taller, but I know he's a big man, and yeah, he could have flattened poor Maddie. That's the understatement. But just prayers for Maddie on that. The guy is a huge guy, and she was little. Yeah, LOL explode. Jeez, I don't want to laugh, but he was also a dirty, nasty, gross, didn't take care of himself. He looks like he smells. In every picture that I see with him and Maddie, he's always like looking at her or with her or ugh.
I'm thinking, if Tyler had really known just how deeply intertwined and exposed and everything Jennifer was with Stephan, and basically, as people say, handing Maddie off to him on a silver platter, I'm sure Tyler would have interrupted things. And I know there are plenty of cases where a mom and a dad not getting along can treat their children like pawns. And I can't help but wonder if that's what Jennifer did to Tyler out of spite. They got pregnant. There was obviously some type of, custody issue. It was something that had to be worked out through the courts. It wasn't something that could have been done behind the scenes. That's why we have the.
Ugh, look at that right there. That's an awful picture there. And Jennifer wanting more than Tyler could offer, you can't do that in court. It's based on how much money you make. It wasn't about that. It's just she wanted control, and her mom was helping her, and her dad was helping her, and they loved, the mom loved Matt. The grandma loved Maddie, but she wasn't as close as Juan was, and they wanted her to be there, and they wanted Jen to have custody, so they helped her pay for lawyers. So no, it wasn't that. It's just Jen is an evil potato, folks. She's not a dumb potato that's all drugged out. Well, she is dumb and drugged out, but she's an evil potato. And if Oblivious Benson wasn't streaming right now, she'd be up here saying, evil potato, evil potato. All right, let's go back to regular. And gotta laugh sometimes. This guy is, ugh, look at this guy, man. I hope somebody just knocks this guy out, like more than that.
these public records. And of course, Tyler went off and married Tatiana. I'm sure that's who he chose to marry as opposed to Jennifer. And I'm wondering, all these years, these 13 years, did Jennifer hold it over his head? Did she kind of play keep away with Maddie all these years by only letting her visit her bio dad and stepmom only sometimes? It feels like that's what's being alluded to. Once we get deeper, and I'm sure once we see more interviews, once we see more raw body cam interviews, interrogations, and everyone spilling the beans, we'll get to see what happened here. And that can be a lesson to me for any parent, even if it's a
Shout out to True Crime Investigates, Anthony Greeno. By the way, you hear that manly voice on my show, the intro and outro. Greeno did the intro and outro, and he does all of my stuff. He did my background, all the graphics, all the cool stuff that everyone always says. Hey, I like your intro and I like your setup. Greeno did it. So I see you too, and I hope you can help me work on a new intro and outro and some new background stuff, and walk me through some other stuff.
a rocky start in terms of co-parenting or whoever you feel is not doing what, no child should be kept away from a person out of spite. If a person is harmful, of course, they should be kept away from that parent or boyfriend. Isn't it ironic? If Jennifer did keep Maddie away from Tyler out of spite, out of anger, out of jealousy of his wife or whatever was going on there, that's totally wrong. And how ironic that situation would be if she kept Maddie away from them in Texas, but just freely let Maddie, go on up there, go sleep in the bedroom with Stephan, this horrible, evil person. The irony in that is something that I just can't get over. Let's close with Joel 2:12. Even now, says the Lord, turn and come to me with all your heart in genuine repentance, with fasting and weeping and mourning, until every barrier is removed and the broken fellowship is restored. So I keep FOIA-ing. I'm looking through stuff I may not have requested. I just got to know more about Jennifer Soto. I was looking through her old traffic tickets and seeing when she still lived at her mom's house, and which year did she move into the condo, and I want to know more about her having a baby with Tyler and the inner workings of her mind, and was she really pissed off that he married someone else, and did she nurse a grudge, and
Yeah, see, that's the stuff we all want to know, but I do want you to know, if I hadn't already told you, the spot where Stephan Stearns was headed and where he ultimately dumped Maddie's body. I know he got a flat tire, so it put a damper on wherever he was headed, because I know that he wasn't going to just dump her in the middle where you could see her. That's where Jen Soto lived, right around that area. So that's how he knew that area. She lived in St. Cloud, and I have her old address, and it's right by the area where the spot is now her memorial, Madeline Soto's memorial. So I just want you to know, Stephan Stearns knew that area, and that's the way he was headed. He knew there was nothing out there because he had been there before, and a lot of people were like, why is he going that way? What happened? Why did he head out there? Nothing's there. Well, yeah, there was. He knew the area because Jen lived out there before. I can't imagine having children these days. I was worried when I was raising them. Now, yeah, I agree. It's rough. Wade Wilson will be meeting soon, and we'll spend the rest of their days together. Justice in Florida. You're right. And we just had an episode today. We need justice all over the world. But right now, Maddie led us to the other children. And that little guy, I just forgot his name. I blanked out right now. But the little guy and all the other children in Florida, where DCP or CPS, all whatever you call that, Child Protective Service, is failing them. So Florida, email it later. Yes, Melissa, you can email it whenever you want.
did she, keep Maddie away from him? And then when she married her ex-husband, whose name is Stephan, that was pretty short-lived. What the heck went wrong there? I know relationships don't work out, so this is not me, coming down on Jennifer or judging her too harshly. I just want to know what happened. What's the human psychology of it? So that broke up, and then she just met Stephan, this horrible man. And did she just see through or look past all the red flags that he brought with him just to be with a man and just to have him? And now Maddie's gone as a result of him. And it's weird some of the backlash that Terasina is getting. And also, I'm wondering, is that why the interviews from WFTV never completely aired? Remember, we kept looking and looking and looking and waiting. I know, reporter Shannon Butler, she's great. She spoke about having 90 minutes worth of footage, interview footage between, with Tyler, his wife Tatiana, Maddie's grandma, who we haven't seen on that side, which would have been Tyler's bio mom, I assume. There were all these interviews coming. We only got to see certain snippets of Tyler talking about, every dad knows what I'm thinking, and even Tyler wants to know more about the situation Maddie was going through. There's so much he didn't know. But we never got to hear Tatiana's portion or the grandmother's portion. I'm wondering, is it because they were getting backlash? I know Terasina is getting backlash. I can't believe some of the comments I read. Some people, they would never say these things to a person's face. But I'm reading comments.
And I agree with that. And I can't wait to hear what she's about to say, because I get those comments too. And I'm like, man, this guy, Tyler Wallace and Tatiana, lost this beautiful angel that they only got to see at certain points, not by their own doing. And people say mean stuff like that. Like, say it, vent it out loud at your house, but why comment? I just delete them, folks. So if you guys are going to waste your time writing that stuff, or for the rewatch crew or whatever, it's just going to get deleted. I'm not going to let that. I've had bad comments about a lot of, I'm not even going to get into that, but it's going to get deleted.
It's like, oh, where's she coming from? She's just the sister-in-law. She's just Tatiana's sister. She's Tyler's sister-in-law. She's not even like Tyler's sister. And that doesn't mean she didn't love Maddie. I don't know how much time she got to spend around Maddie. I saw when Maddie went missing, she was putting out a lot on Facebook. And it doesn't mean she didn't have love for the girl.
Oh.
Some people are just saying, oh, she wants her 15 minutes of fame. And they all failed Maddie. And I don't really know. I'm just trying to look deeper into the situation, because from the words that are kind of being said, it kind of sounds like there's a much deeper story. And I hope the rest of those interviews are aired. I don't know who put the kibosh on that. I don't think I missed them, because I was looking and looking and looking.
No, you didn't miss them, and they didn't come out. And there is a way deeper story that's not called drama. It's called part of the story and what happened. And the reason that we haven't talked to the current roommates is because they're part of the investigation, folks. So I don't want to reach out to them and hinder anything at all. Thank you, Valerie Veramonte. Thank you. Thank you for your dedication being here. I see you all the time. I appreciate your super chat. I always get them confused. Super chat, super sticker. Thank you. All right. You guys everybody's being really nice tonight. Thank you. Again, you don't have to, but it's much appreciated and helpful.
And looking so long at WFTV News, as I still get their alerts coming through right now from their app. I love their app. I kept looking to see where's the rest of the interviews. If I can find any more new stuff, I will put it in here somewhere. Something weird is going on. Maybe they didn't want to experience the backlash that Terasina is getting now, where people they get so angry. And I get it. Some people get so angry at what happened to a child. They just rail against everyone. They might rail against reporters and YouTubers and the entire family without us really knowing who exactly failed Maddie. We know Stephan Stearns did. A lot of people believe Jennifer Soto did, but I want to know more about why and how, any parent, if they're recognizing the same type of ire against their own child, if they're looking at their child like, oh, you remind me of your father and just get out of here. And almost as if it were punishment. She's saying, I'm going to send you off to live with your father. Well, yeah, that would have been fine. You don't do it out of anger. You do it because you care as a co-parent. Let me give you your equal amount of time. I could go on, and all the child support issues. I don't know what that's about. Sometimes money is tight. Who knows? It's sad it couldn't have worked out. It's sad Maddie could not have been rescued. I guess that's my ultimate point. Again, I'm covering this case, many other cases. I'm putting still a lot of FOIA requests in. We'll see what we get. I doubt that Stearns' trial will happen next month. Either one of them, they might both be pushed back, but we'll see. We'll keep track. I keep checking the court website almost every day.
Yeah, I think it's going to change everybody. I believe it's July 10th for the first one. And I really, truly don't think that's going to happen. But if it does, I'll say, oh, my bad. And great job with Delphi Greener. Really good coverage. Thank you so much. And thanks for saying that, Mr. Beer. His channel has definitely been popping lately, and doing the collabs and everything always helps. Like, I notice that with my channel, the more I collab and get interviews and such, people love it. So Bree says, I scrolled up and I think it was deleted. Jojo, did you have Leslie's email? Okay, you guys are behind the scene talk. Let's keep going. I have another episode, and it's a theory about what happened in between. So I thought it was kind of valid and important to talk about.
to try and stay on top of things. So thank you so much for watching all of this. Check the links below to see Nancy Grace's podcast and the court website and all the other sources. And before I go, isn't it weird how Jennifer celebrated? Maybe it's not weird, but it's kind of weird how Jennifer celebrated her ex-husband's birthday with Stephan Stearns. I love this TikToker. I'm so glad this TikToker has been able to, save some of these screenshots. I'll link to her below too. But this was December 2nd, 2018. So we know Jen and Stearns met that year, and Stearns is standing right there next to his, bullseye axe that he's thrown. But Jen wrote, "You guys, axe throwing is so much fun. Spent the day celebrating Stephen's 30th birthday. That's her ex-husband's birthday at Epic Axe and Player One. Such a great time. Let's do it again." And so she has some people she's tagging, and Stephan Stearns is one of them. And her ex-husband is obviously there, so maybe she was able to remain friends with her ex-husband. And of course, I don't know how long her ex.
He looks like the devil, folks. You see this guy right here? He's just completely dark. And I know that and the people that believe in spirituality and, there's good, there's evil, there's dark, there's light, and there's dark over there on that side. That guy looks, I don't know him. I haven't looked into him, but I mean, it doesn't look like a dark dude. I don't know. He's probably just not crazy, and that's why he left. I think Jen was married, 2 years, folks?
Ex-husband was in Maddie's life. I'm assuming Maddie was there. Maybe not. They're at the Epic Axe Throwing.
I forgot to thank you. Thank you, Chris Beltran, for the super sticker. Appreciate it.
In Orlando. That's another weird thing, kind of, but she was able to celebrate her ex's birthday with Stephan there. Maybe it was a thing of like, oh, I've got a new man now. That's another thing I'm thinking, maybe Jennifer is like seeing the solid relationship, the solid marriage between Tatiana and Tyler all these years, and then Jennifer gets married to this guy, Stephen, but then they get divorced for whatever happened. And maybe she felt like, oh no, I can't keep a relationship. But now Stephan comes into her life in 2018. So is she like, oh yeah, I'll come celebrate my ex Stephen's birthday with you. And look, I'm bringing my new man, Stephan Stearns. Oh, my man, Jesus, I like that. Yeah. I'm bringing my new man with me, kind of to show them off or rub them in your faces, and they kind of look similar with their dark hair and everything. Who knows? But I just had to make that point. Another strange thing I found about Jennifer, which is cool, I guess, if you can get along with your ex, only if you're doing it for a higher good of, oh, maybe Maddie loved Stephen. Maybe she'll get to see him, or who knows? I'm just fascinated with this woman. And again, I'm very obsessed with seeing it through for Maddie to get her justice. And just like Terasina said, so that Maddie's death will not be in vain. Hopefully can save a whole lot more children who might recognize themselves in a situation and they do make an outcry, or someone else around them makes an outcry, or it goes and tells police and rescues these kids. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.
All right. What we should normalize, people, is we should normalize people not being ashamed and not being afraid when something like that happens. When you're abused by somebody, essayed or anything, let's normalize making it okay to tell somebody, making it okay to tell your friend or to tell your parent. If your parent doesn't believe you, go talk to a teacher, go talk to somebody. Let's normalize telling and knowing that it's not your fault. Okay? Like it's normal. And a lot of people talk to me now about that. They want to talk about it. They email me and they tell me about their situations and how they got assaulted, and they've come to peace with it now. They've gone to therapy. And don't you wish that would happen immediately so it wouldn't continue? So let's normalize that it's not your fault. And more than likely, if the abuser is threatening you, they're probably not going to do anything. They're only threatening you because they don't want to stop. They don't want that. They don't want you to be gone. So Ninja 808, love this crew so much. I've been trying to catch a live. So stoked to be here. Thank you. And we have more. So I love this. What likely happened that Sunday, PM, AM, based on the evidence. This is a good one. I saw this and I was like, you know what? Let's discuss it with the crime crew. I've been doing a lot of research on other cases lately, and we're working. Thank you to Carrie for getting me hooked up with Paul and Complicit. So Complicit's all on board now and good to go. We're gonna get them on the show. So that takes time. And then also Dr. Thomas Andrew. I've been talking to Bree Michelot. She said she's she's gonna come back and talk to us as soon as the August 2nd when Christopher Greger is sentenced. I'm hoping to just get her right on and get her reaction that day. So that takes a lot of time and a lot of work to get all this stuff hooked up and a lot of money. Money spent when I have to take off time. Yeah. That's another. I've been cutting my hours and taking days off. Anyway, stop the silence. Support SA victims. Yeah, my hours at work, folks. I'm taking days off. Bad. August 2nd, by the way, mark your calendar. I'm taking the day off to stream, and I hope it happens, the sentencing for Christopher Greger, and then get Bree Michelot right back on, like, directly, hopefully. So, anyway, let's think about what likely happened between those hours that we don't know. Stop the silence, support SA victims, please, and normalize talking about it, because a lot of people talk to me about it in hindsight now and they're okay with it. Just let's try to give kids a stronger foundation so they can talk about it if that happens, folks. Please. This has got to stop. I don't know if I can play this music. I don't know what. Likely Madeline. What happened on Sunday? Okay. Bed crime stories. Thank you. Let's get past this. I don't want to get in trouble for this music, but I like the possibility of what may have happened and hearing it out loud because we have a lot of thoughts.
I'm talking about Sunday, February 25th into Monday, February 26th. Maddie's mother, Jen Soto, told the police she sent her boyfriend, Stephan Stearns, and her daughter to sleep in the upstairs guest bedroom at 11 p.m. on Sunday, February 25th. After that, the only person who knows exactly what went down is Stearns. Ultimately, we know Maddie ended up deceased sometime before 7:35 a.m. I say this because Stearns was captured on a security camera discarding her backpack in a dumpster at 7:35 a.m. I think it's safe to assume that Maddie was deceased when Stearns was doing.
All right, so there's that backpack, and this is a great theory and to talk about because we had all those hours that we don't know what happened, and all of us have a different kind of opinion or imagination about what happened. So we're kind of just thinking about it, and now's the time to talk about it. Yeah, bed crime stories is really cool. No drama, super chill, and if the episodes were longer, I'd probably fall asleep to it, but they go so quick, and I'm like, no, I don't want it to be over. Stella says, I'm waiting for sentencing of Christopher Greger. All the love and support for Bree and Corey. Justice for Corey. And great, come back here and watch Bree give her reaction after sentencing because she will. She's really cool, man. I didn't think she'd be as personable as she is just because all she's going through, but she's actually really chill. I like that. I was 14 and very thankful I had amnesia. He went to prison for 10 years and also thankful my parents put me in therapy so young. I always started when I randomly remember. Yeah, exactly. Thank God for your parents, man. We need to normalize telling people what happened.
Doing this. Thus, we can conclude that Maddie died at some point between 11 p.m. and let's say 7:30 a.m. I'm guessing there with the 7:30 a.m. And that's because it would have taken Stearns some time to get Maddie from that upstairs bedroom down to the ground floor level and out to his silver Lincoln sedan. My assumption is that Maddie died inside her mother's townhome and thus would have been deceased when Stearns moved her from the residence. I believe he did this under the veil of night to avoid detection. There are a couple of potential clues as to when whatever happened. The first is a message that Stearns sent using the Telegram app. The Telegram app is described as a secure messaging and audio calling.
All right, folks, this is where we start talking about Telegram and what happened. And look at where this came from. But anyway, this is really good, this information. I'm glad that it came out. I think it's in the paperwork now. And I don't know if we're ever going to know what was sent out. But when this happened, it was 11:49 or 11:49, the last one. I wonder if Stephan Stearns was sending pictures out. And by the way, Paul, thank you not only for saying you think the mom knew, that's your opinion, but thank you for the super, or actually, you sent me a Cash App, a $20 Cash App, and Annette Allen. Thank you for the $10 Cash App. I appreciate that. Also, Melissa, I got your message, and I will send your email over, and I'll give you my new number. Okay. All right. Yeah, I have a new number. So thank you all for that. Paul, you're amazing. We got to talk this weekend so we can get you on next week. And it's going to be 4th of July. So are you all going to watch next week on 4th of July when you have the day off? Because Paul's coming on. I hope you are. All right, let's go. Remember, 4th of July doesn't start till nighttime to see the fireworks. So
a cloud-based app that allows you to send messages, photos, videos, and files of any type to your contacts. This app has been known to be used for illegal activities, such as people who are into child P, also by white supremacists and terrorists. Stearns sent the telegram message at 11:49 a.m. And the fear with this is that Stearns may have filmed himself doing Maddie in. No one seems to know how this guy had money to buy things like vape juice. I believe it's possible he was selling photos and videos of Maddie. If this telegram message is related to Maddie's death, then she died relatively soon after being sent to bed by her mother, just 49 minutes later. If this is the case, then Stearns had quite a few hours in which to come up with his plan or his mission on how to deal with Maddie's body. I'm assuming he would have preferred getting Maddie out of the house and down to his car when it was dark outside. So it's possible Maddie was placed in the silver Lincoln in the very early morning hours on Monday, February 26th.
See, the only problem I have with this particular portion of it is after thinking about rigor mortis and it setting in, I keep thinking that it happened later on in the morning or earlier on in the morning, closer to when he left. Otherwise, I feel like he would have left that night after it happened. If it would have been after the telegram, after the picture, he would have probably tried to sneak out at night. I don't know. I don't really know, but that's the only problem. And are you serious? I emailed you. Let's put together a panel to educate and share stories. That would be awesome. First, we got to start with educating, and then we'll go. The sharing stories might have to be on members only, because then we get trolls or things we can't say. But yes, I'd love to do that. That's what I'm looking for. Let's do it.
If Maddie went to bed in pajamas, then Stearns must have put the green sweatshirt, blue jeans, and white Crocs on her before he took her out to his car. It would seem Stearns likely slept very little that night/morning. After allegedly putting his hands around her neck and doing the deed, Stearns, I would think, had to have been stressed out and panicking, unless he's a hardcore psychopath with little emotion. I picture him trying to think clearly, hurrying about the room, trying to get everything in order and hide any evidence, all the while having to be quiet because Jen Soto was asleep downstairs. I think Stephan Stearns leaving the condo complex so early Monday morning to supposedly take Maddie to school and dropping her off well before the start of the classes hints that he was ready to get rid of her body early that morning, like a racehorse chomping at the bit to start running. I'm sure he wanted to put as much space between Maddie's body and himself, but it had to be woven into Maddie's typical school days.
Right. That I agree with. And he had to do it before other roommates woke up and were going to work. So he was he was way off when school starts at 9:30. He left way too early. Otherwise, he would have left that night. Hi, love watching you. Always great information. Thank you. And if you guys aren't getting sleepy, remember this is bed crime stories. So you guys can just fall asleep with your phone on. Don't worry. Jojo for show. No, just Joe. You say Jen knew. Hashtag arrest Jen Soto. I am not convicted that they didn't move the body. I'm not convinced that they didn't move the body together. Well, maybe on the inside, but I think they have cameras. That's my only thing, and I can't wait till the rest of the documents come out. I cannot wait till the rest of the documents come out. We're all impatiently waiting.
Schedule. I'm sure he realized he had to get rid of her backpack, her school laptop, her shoes, and anything that she would normally take with her to school. He deliberately left her cell phone back at home, as well as his own, likely so that the police could not locate Maddie via the phone's GPS. But let's go back to Sunday night. After attending her multi-hour-long birthday party, which supposedly began at 3 p.m. and ended we don't know exactly when, Maddie was perhaps either amped up from all the excitement or exhausted. Either way, you'd think that once she put her head down on the pillow, she would likely have quickly conked out. Is this what happened? But did Stearns not want to sleep? Was he pushing a tired Maddie to partake in his essay? And did she finally stand up and say, no more? This is not okay. There are boys at school that I'm interested in, and not a creepy old dude like you. I'm going to tell. Something triggered Stearns to take Maddie.
And that, I think she pushed back, folks. They do say that there were scratch marks on his arms. I absolutely think she pushed back. She was getting to the age where maybe she did like another boy. And Stephan Stearns was, well, I shouldn't say another boy. He's a grown ass man. But I think that night was not purposefully, but if it was because she was getting too old and pushing back. Yeah, I'm glad that Predator was stupid. He would have preyed on others. Absolutely. And we don't know if he did or didn't. Maybe he just didn't take pictures. It's really like, I think that we don't even know where the crime scene is, folks. We're just speculating that it's at the condo. We don't know. So we don't know about the dogs or any of that. And I think that's going to be the next documentation. The next documents that drop have to, I mean, they're going to tell us where the crime scene is, right?
Maddie's
I
life.
hope.
I don't think this crime was planned. I think it
Okay.
was spontaneous, and that's why things were done in such a messy way on Monday morning.
Right.
I say messy because he gets videotaped right out of the house near the dumpster discarding those items. The
messages.
cameras also pick up his car with a passenger dressed in a green top, slumped over with her mouth ajar. Had Stearns planned his crime, he would have scouted out the security cameras, and he would have found a route.
Which live interviews do you want to see, JC? Do you want to email me them and I can play them? It is a Friday night. I don't have to work tomorrow. Yay. Anyway, guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com. Email me what you want.
That wouldn't have him picked up with Maddie's deceased body inside his vehicle. Stearns was also captured on security footage moving a limp body from the passenger seat to the trunk of his car. He drove all the way to that Disney building and to the top level of the parking garage, only to be caught by the camera there. The question is, what prompted this vicious act? Is it connected to Maddie's 13th birthday party? Stearns said he was a bonus dad for Maddie. Some dad, right? I'm wondering why he wasn't at her party on Sunday. Did Maddie not want him there? Did her...
Well, now we know, folks, and bed crime stories, a lot of people aren't into the like that, or they know the family or the people or whatever. So we now know that, and I think Yolanda may have said it. None of them like Stephan Stearns. He was just a log, a lump. So he wasn't at the birthday party because they didn't want him there. Maddie didn't want him there. We don't know yet, Paul. We don't exactly know. We think strangulation, but we don't know. And hello, Jamila. I always look forward to you being here. I'm glad you're back.
Her grandmother, who has said that she didn't like him, did she say he couldn't come? Could Stearns have been angered by Maddie drawing a line in the sand and saying, no, I don't want Stephan at my party? That seems sort of petty, though. I think it's more likely that she said, I'm done, I've had enough, and I'm going to tell on you. Nobody wants to go to prison, right? This crime was up close and personal, so that indicates a lot of rage. Something happened that spurned a lot of rage in Stephan Stearns. By the way, I've seen a lot of people look at that one photo of Maddie at her party, the one where she looks kind of washed out, and they've said she looks exhausted. I don't think she's exhausted, because there's a video of her where she's larking about near the water in her blue dress outside. She looks vibrant, she looks happy. Her eyes are clearly blue in the video, as is the color of the dress. I think in the first photo, the reason she looks washed out is simply down to lighting. Her eyes look dark in that photo, and the dress looks tan, and I think it's because of the bad lighting. Back to what happened to Maddie. I think Stearns used his hands on her neck for two reasons.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely a good theory, and I wish we had better time frame, because this means that right when they walked in the house, and this is almost impossible, but it could have happened like that. Right when they walked in the house from the birthday party, Jen Soto was she came home from work and she said herself 10:30. Then Maddie got showered and she sent them off to bed. And then she, from 11 o'clock until 8:15 in the morning, when she heard Stephan rattle the keys and get the dog leash to take the dog out, so the dog didn't pee on the bed. That means from that time to that time, she was just oblivious. No offense, oblivious Benson. And yeah, it's from 7 to 12, and then you realize what's up. I have friends that talk to me about their abuse, and now I have a lot more people talking to me about that now that I have this channel. Once you're healing and you're starting to become healed, people open up to it more. My dog's getting mad. I'm
One,
gonna have
it's
to
a
go get
quiet
him.
way to do somebody in. It won't wake one's sleeping mother downstairs. And two, I think this was not a planned event. Again, something sparked his rage, and he grabbed for whatever he had. In this case, it was his own hands. When interviewed, Stearns told the police that he and Maddie woke up between 7 and 7:15 a.m. on Monday morning and were out the door by 7:30 to get an early start. This doesn't ring true to me. Even if Maddie was a low-maintenance young lady, you'd think she would have needed more time to get ready for school. I think Stephan's timeline supports him being eager to get Maddie out of the house and get her dumped somewhere far from home. His timeline hints to me at him being in a hurry to carry out all the things he needed to do that morning. 1, pretend to drive an alive Maddie to school. 2, later move her limp body from the front passenger seat to the trunk. 3, drive out to a rural location and dump her body. 4, be back to the townhome in time so as not to make Jen Soto think something was amiss. While Jen Soto lied to the cops.
But here's the thing is I don't think that Jen Soto didn't know. I don't know that I'm not going to go as far as to say she was involved in it and whatever. We'll find out. It's a theory, but I don't know that he had to be sneaky for her. I think it was for the roommates. And yes, Wes got a haircut. And so he's all, look at him. This is Wes, the guilty of crime mascot, Big Yawn from the little dog. Yes, Bree. He's tired and he wanted some love. All right. I don't understand. My daughter isn't even allowed to get chocolate milk by herself at night. Just kidding. Yeah, I agree. I don't get it either. But I don't. Who knows? Evil potato.
Cops. I don't
you're
believe
so
she was in
tired.
cahoots with Stearns when it came to doing Maddie in. So I'll leave you with all of this to ponder. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you next time on Bed Crime Stories. Now,
Yes, everyone go to Bed Crime Stories. I have 604 people here still, JC. I don't know what you wanted, but 5 years she had nothing. Are those is that what you wanted to see? Look at my dog. This is one of my dogs. I have 4 of them. He just wanted mom to hold him. There should be documents coming out anytime. Yes, Bree, we've definitely been waiting impatiently, patiently. When are those documents going to come? Do you think they're going to come before 4th of July or after? Because you know how 4th of July kind of makes everything like stop. It's on a Thursday. People take that day off, and then the next day they're all hungover. Mommy, come on, I'm sleepy. I know, but it's Friday night and I have 603 people here. I'm like, what else could we? I mean, there's so many different things going on right now and so many things I want to talk to you about. It's like, man, you know what I do have though is this. And I didn't know if I'd have time to go over it, but like I'm really not doing anything right now. My daughter is actually asleep. She fell asleep because she stayed up way. Hold on. She stayed up way too late and she's been sleeping. Hold on. The wife is at work, folks, and I'm doing nothing right now, but I have a lot on my mind on with this case and a bunch of other cases. Thank you, Phil Berteau. How do you say that? Dave Berteau. I bet you Bree would know how to say that. Okay, let me share this because that's a good, what you just said is absolutely right. And you're on point with it. You're always on point with all the stuff, and that's why you should start a channel so we can collab. Okay. Listen here. This is great information. So you guys can hang on tight because guess what? this is coming soon. And is it going to come before 4th of July or after? Let's go.
There are actually 1,500 pages of discovery in the case of
Evil.
Stephan Michael Stearns, the on-again, off-again boyfriend of Jennifer Lisette Soto, a woman whose 13-year-old daughter, Madeline Sophia Soto, lost her life at the hands of Stearns. In my most recent video, I gave viewers an hour-long summary of the harrowing and intense 896 pages of discovery released to us last week. However, upon recently learning that there are actually nearly double that amount of pages in discovery, I asked,
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. JC, I told my daughter, let me tuck you in, and then she kicked her out. My daughter did that the other day. I walked in her room, and she pushed the door, and it hit me in the face, and she just started laughing. I guess she was in the middle of her, one of her virtual reality things, and she stopped what she was doing because she loves when she hits me in the face. Or not, kids are silly when they're little, and you boop yourself like boop, or you hurt yourself. They think it's funny, right? When you play with kids, that kid laugh. So when she was little, I'd always pretend to hurt myself. I'd fall down, and she would just, that laugh we heard from Dalton earlier. It was that laugh. Funniest thing ever. So anyway, she hit me in the face with the door. It was cracking up. So thank you, JC, for sending that. Yeah, exactly. Yes. And Karen, thank you for saying real talk. My heart breaks for the Wallaces. They had to hear and read about what Maddie went through. Knowing her bio mom didn't do anything to help her. Not only did she not do anything to help her, she helped to make that happen. All right, Wes. I know. You say goodnight. All right, you don't want me to hold you like that. You want to lay down. He's got a blanket / towel right below my chair, and he hides underneath that chair until I'm done. So, okay. Thank you. All right, let's listen. 1,500 page document coming out. Well, we have 896 pages. So whatever you minus, 600 more pages coming out.
The state attorney's office how to obtain and pay for the additional pages. Investigators have obviously been hard at work gaining evidence and interviews and all the proof they need to stand up in court for Stearns' murder trial, scheduled for July 16th. On Wednesday, June 12th, 2024, the Public Records and Media Records official from the Office of...
All right, it's scheduled for July 16th, folks. That is right around the corner. That is a little over 2 weeks. And when you think about the holiday of 4th of July in between, it's even less. So do you really, honestly, truly in your heart of hearts believe that trial is going to happen on July 16th? If you think it's going to happen, just throw a bunch of ones because I love the angel number. If you think it's going to happen. If you don't think it's going to happen, hit 2. All right, let's watch this. Let's listen about the document.
Andrew A. Bain, state attorney with the 9th Judicial Circuit in Orlando, Florida, sent me and a group of others an email about the case of Stephan Stearns, thanks to the YouTuber named The Docket, ensuring my name got placed on the list of journalists getting official email updates. He had received the 896 pages on Tuesday, June 11th, 2024, at 9:13 a.m., being among the first to pay for and receive the massive document. The later email, which was sent to 20 of us, stated, "Good morning all. Below you'll find a link to records reviewed and paid for by another requester for the above cited case. These records have been provided to all on this email for no charge. As you are all aware, there is a lot of local, national, and international interest for the 1,500 pages and hours upon hours of digital media released in Discovery thus far. Our local media outlets have agreed to initially split future costs for the continuing review of this case. As I cannot accurately estimate the total cost of the review of this case, I will continue to review records on a periodic basis and advise as to costs for that portion. However, if at any time your outlet feels they have what they need and no longer want to split fees, let me know and I'll adjust accordingly. As required by law, once the records are reviewed, any other requests for the same records are fulfilled to other requesters as soon as reasonably possible. If there comes a time where the records requested have not been requested by anyone other than our local media.
This is crazy. And Plunder goes through all this. Actually, Plunder and Easy-E. We talked about Easy-E from the docket. All right, we'll finish this up and then my daughter just woke up. I get to
that
get
have
hit in
on
the
file
face.
with this office a deferred payment contract. An invoice of costs for a deposit will be issued, and once the deposit is paid and queued for processing, and said records will be provided as soon as reasonably possible. Pursuant to FS 119, all records must be reviewed for confidential and/or exempt information records prior to their release. I appreciate your continuing patience for records from this office. Please download these records ASAP. I have no control over the system's short expiration date. I wrote back, thank you. I am in receipt of the 896-page PDF regarding Stephan Stearns. In your email, you write about 1,500 pages released in discovery thus far. Please let me know how to obtain the more than 600 pages of documents not provided in the previous email and the cost of such documents. Thanks and have a great weekend. She replied, not all 1,500 pages are allowed for release to the public. What has not been provided was outlined in the exception form, so therefore I understand her email to mean that periodically we will receive chunks of discovery as the records are reviewed.
So we hope the next chunk that comes out is going to be the rest of the documents, but it's weird that they haven't been released if the trial is going to happen in a little over 2 weeks. So unfortunately, 2 is my answer. Again, it could just be full force, go ahead and have the trial. But if you watch if you watch it all the time and you just are always watching trials, you know it doesn't work that way. And most of the time, a giant case takes anywhere from 2 to 5 years, guys. I hate to say that. Chunks. I'll go ahead and say, yeah, my R's. Neglected the part of the street is so very sad. Yeah, it did. All right, let's hope and pray that these documents come out soon, because it has to, right? Because trial's coming. Look how confused the evil potato looks.
For their confidentiality, and whatever needs to be redacted prior to their release will be redacted, then released. Since the YouTuber named The Docket is on the media list and contributed funding to garner these documents, please visit the link to his channel below for updates as well.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm going to get access to that or it's going to happen. And yeah, time. I'm also looking to rent out my other house, folks. So if anyone lives in San Jose and needs a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, my tenant broke his lease early. But thank you, Bree. I don't know if I'll be able to do that in time. Hopefully.
After my
I
previous
doubt
video,
it.
so many people keep requesting the 896-page PDF that I've decided to put a link.
Again, vote for Bree to start her channel, folks. Bree needs to start a channel so she can do all that, and then I'll just take her content and speed it up. Just kidding. Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, and I don't think the trial's happening, but we'll see.
To it below. However, read it at your own risk. I am not responsible for any actions of readers who do anything with the information that was not redacted by the Office of Andrew Bain, State Attorney, 9th Judicial Circuit. Also, other true crime followers are placing the huge PDF online on Dropbox or via.
I was also told, and more than told, I was promised that I will get exclusive access to filming. If you can't film on the inside, I was promised to get access to boots on the ground and the courthouse and the people and the things. So if it doesn't get streamed or whatever, and I don't have time, I'm going to cover what I can. You guys know I have to work, so I can't cover this trial every day. But of course, we're going to be covering it. And of course, I'm going to get exclusive information and exclusive documents and exclusive video that nobody else has.
Via various websites, with some folks linking to versions that are reportedly searchable. I can only vouch for the 896-page document that I uploaded to Patreon, which unfortunately isn't easily searchable if you're searching for specific terms within the document. But it is the complete document sent from the state attorney. So there's the latest update in the Stearns discovery. Check the links below to give thanks to the docket for being one of the first, if not the first, to obtain this PDF, and subscribe to him as well for updates. Stay tuned, and let's close this video with Zechariah 8:16. These are the things which you should do. Speak the truth with one another. Judge with truth and pronounce the...
You know what sucks about religions is that people use it for bad. And I don't mean to say anything about religions, but the thing is, we as clear-headed people will see this and know exactly that it's for good and it's all positive. But then you get like Chad Dumbbell that will take this same Bible verse and use it to manipulate someone to do something bad. So when you look at Zechariah 8:16 and it says, "These are the things which you do, which you should do: speak the truth with one another, judge with truth, and pronounce the judgment that brings peace." And then it says, "The courts, your gates." They'll talk somebody into some completely something different. And I don't know how perspective gets out of control like that. But I do love these Bible verses, and my mom, I love her to death. She sends me Bible verses every single morning on point. A new Bible verse every morning. I love her.
The judgment that brings peace in the courts at your gates.
Go ahead.
We're almost done.
That's what I'm about to grab right now. Yeah. All right, cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Is this a good enough picture? Or do you need a whole body picture? Okay.
That's always weird when I hear her say, "Do you need a whole body picture?" Ah. All right, folks, let's pray that everything comes out soon and we get to see what Jen's culpable for and we're not just on some witch hunt. Thank you.
Okay, where's the photo? Right there.
It's on WhatsApp.
Thank you.
I saved it to my photos, so we could go.
You saved it to your photos?
Yeah, we could
Perfect.
switch it to photos.
Okay, perfect. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm
Very
gonna send it out right
awkward.
now to my other guys.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Get her. Yeah. That's good. As they should do that. I don't know what happened to the volume here. Well, I guess it's done. What happened? All right. Stop sharing. All right. Can you guys hear me? Because I just took out. Hold on. All right. Tell me if you can hear me. I don't know if I just took my voice out or put it back in. Consuelo says that maggot should go away. Sweet dreams, Carrie, love and light. Okay, good. All right, loud and clear. I love when people say loud and clear. It means you're way too loud. Shut your mouth. All right, y'all. We all do have to go, and it's been a long night, and I appreciate every single one of you here. Thank you. It just hit 222, meaning we have 2 hours and 22 minutes. So I think that's a good number to land on. I'm glad we all got to talk this out tonight and get things out of our heads because we're all sitting there and just wondering what's going to happen, and we're all in the same boat. So I love each and every single one of you. Are you serious? Please message me. I think you already did. I think I saw that. I also got a PayPal from Stella Facel for $20. Thank you so much for your love and support, and I appreciate every one of you. All we have but shy of 600 people. And Melissa, thank you. I will get your email out to everybody. I'll send an email and get it. Wolfpack, good night. Thank you. Great conversation, company. We appreciate you as a new addition. And I love you all. Thank you. Have a good night. And Carly, what are you doing tonight? Anyway, have a good one. Bree, thank you for being here. And I'm glad that you're feeling better. Rest Jen Soto soon. We love you too. Good night, Native Pride. atheist here. Why believe in God's Andy Thompson's neuroscience? You know what? Just a higher power that is good with a good presence. That's all. Atheist, that's fine, but you must feel certain people that feel bad and bring a bad energy. I know. I want to have. We got to have a talk about that. Yeah, we definitely have a talk about that. All right, but not right now. Good night, everybody. Thank you for all the support, love, and I'll see you soon. Have a good one.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?